I believe he'll be here halfway through the cast, but as a punishment for dogging on Connor, we had him sit out for the first few fights. What do you think?
What up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast, episode 47, I believe. This is Pulver. I'm here with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. What up, bruh?
Yo. Feeling better today.
That's right. Ironically, you had a fever yesterday, which is when we normally record.
Yep.
And today, it's like a fucking 1,000 degrees outside in Southern California. So
this is fun.
Now we both have a fever while we get to record. It feels like it's real brutal. But if you guys have not heard the show before, I should let you know. We are a podcast that breaks down what MMA podcasts you should be listening to. In our first segment, we talk about the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss, as well as a new MMA podcast that we had not previously heard. And then in our second segment, we'll talk briefly about the Conor fight, the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series finale. Maybe we'll touch on Tough quickly, and we'll touch on Invicta quickly. And then in the last segment, we will go through and break down the upcoming Struve vs. Volkov card, which is not a great card, but it's been so long since we've seen a fucking regular UFC card that I'm kind of hyped.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some fights this weekend. Funny as it may be that it's in Rotterdam, a place where I was just arriving at 1 year ago this week, basically.
Yeah, I think we even mentioned it last week, but yeah, you were there almost exactly this time last year.
Yeah, I arrived there
with your cannabis energy drink and all.
Yeah, August 25th last year was when I got into Rotterdam. What a great coincidence. So UFC Rotterdam tomorrow.
Pretty crazy. So we'll talk about all that, but why don't we go ahead and jump into our first segment. Man, a lot of Conor and Floyd talk on every fucking podcast this week. I was hoping a lot of people were going to be bored with it and cover it for 2 minutes, but I feel like a lot of the shows I heard were mostly that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like everything I listened to kind of had that mix in. What did you think of the fight? That kind of thing going on.
Which we're going to do too, to be fair.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of that this week. But why don't you go ahead and kick us off with what podcasts or what MMA podcasts you recommend people catch this week?
I liked Co-Main Events.
It was real good.
I liked it a lot. They kind of discussed...
I actually listened to it twice.
Yeah, I didn't listen to all of it. I didn't get to... I think I got to about like 2/3 of it. But as far as what I was able to write down, they were talking about boxing as a whole. Does it feel action-packed?
Right.
You know, they were discussing I think the first 3 fights that went on on the listener mail segment. People were saying, "Oh, boxing is hella boring" or something like that. And
right.
I'm like, oh well, let's discuss how these first fights went. I think they discussed the co-main event. Who was it? Gervonta Davis versus that guy Francisco Fonseca.
Yep.
That was a real good fight. I like that.
I like both the fights that led up to the main
event. So that's what they were discussing.
And BoJack Horseman fought also.
Oh yeah, I remember someone fucking mentioned that. They said they thought there was a boxing bias against Conor during the judging and the pre-fight when they were in the ring. I can maybe see the boxing bias.
Definitely the ref in that announcement where he's like looking at Conor like there will be no horseplay. Like, just being an old preacher about everything. But judging we'll talk about later. I agree it was probably not 100% accurate. However, we'll get into it.
Yeah, they discussed how Conor's power didn't translate well to boxing, as compared to MMA. You can discuss, 4-ounce gloves, 8-ounce gloves. But, we'll discuss a little later. They said the people who call this fight garbage just want clickbait. I agree. I don't think this fight was garbage.
Oh yeah, afterwards for sure.
Afterwards, yeah.
It was.
This is all afterwards. Is what they're saying. People were calling it garbage even after the fight.
Yeah, and like it was fun, but like it was what everyone should have expected, kind of. Apart from Conor doing a little bit better than we thought, and Floyd, and most importantly, Floyd implementing a weird game plan.
Yeah, his game plan, of course, not seeing his style, which he usually does, is kind of course, playing.
Yeah, he hasn't done that shit in 10 years. Like, that dude hasn't moved forward in 10 years. We'll talk about it, but good God.
They said Derek Lewis is a great person for helping others during Hurricane Harvey in his hometown of Houston.
That's right, even if they have a Confederate flag in their car that they're trying to arrest you. Yeah, that was an interesting story. They're basically saying there was a couple that he helped out, helped carry into the back of his truck, and the man's like, honey, I don't want to leave my American flag in the back. You know, and then Derek's just like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that, dude. I just want to help you out. And he's like, all right, but you don't care if I put my flag in your truck? And he's like, dude, I don't care. Like, I'll sit in the back.
Yeah.
And his wife was like, you should have just left it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's the right answer. He should have left it. Definitely don't grab your Confederate flag out of your truck when a black dude is helping you out of a fucking river.
And a black dude as large as Derek Lewis. But he should have just left the flag in the back of the car.
Yeah, real ridiculous.
Especially someone as big and large as Derek Lewis. Like, come on.
For sure. Yeah, that's super goofy. They also, I think, introed the show by talking about their kids going to public school. I think Chad's sending his kids to public school now.
Oh yeah, and the kid was
like, is just joking about
his
how
daughter was like, yeah, I wanted my lunch, and what was it? The kid wanted her lunch and something else.
Yeah, she was real bummed. She didn't get to ride the bus also.
Yeah, someone.
He's like, don't worry, you have plenty of time.
I only went to public school for elementary and middle. I rode the bus in elementary, but yeah, dude, riding the bus was the best, especially for me. Playing Pokemon Blue on the original Game Boy against other kids with the gaming link or whatever it was. Oh god,
that shit is real dumb. Yeah. That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Those are some intense times on the ride to school.
I bet.
But yeah, and I think they said they want to see Conor come back and fight Tony or GSP for $13 million or whatever the UFC is willing to put out.
Yeah.
Money-wise. And I think they said, from where I stopped listening, it's going to be someone with a large ego or an egotistical kind of battle to convince Conor to come back just by using money alone, because there's going to have to be more than that.
Oh, it's going to be Nate 3. It's going to be... Yeah. It's obviously going to be Nate 3 for the 155 belt, which is hilarious because they're about to crown an interim champ.
Yeah,
and then Nate's gonna fucking fight part 3. So the only way I see them letting Conor do that though is if they do like a 160 catch weight or something.
There's no way they're gonna have that belt because they want the best of both worlds. They want the Conor versus Nate fight,
right? But they want it to be for a belt. Is the problem? But I do think they're just gonna do 160 and let Kevin Lee talk shit or whatever, because Conor, if Conor wins the Nate fight and GSP wins the Bisping fight,
they're doing that.
Guaranteed. And if Conor if GSP loses, then they're doing the Conor fight because if GSP wins, they're gonna do the Woodley fight.
Yeah.
It's super which is fucked up because that's a 170-pound belt for just people who aren't cutting weight. Yeah. Or 185.
I know Woodley could do okay against some people at 185, but I wouldn't want to see him fight someone like Luke Rockhold. No. Huge, or even Weidman, dude.
Too big. No, Weidman's like a 205er.
Yeah, Weidman's
way too big for 185.
On top of Woodley.
It's too big.
Yeah.
Because Woodley's not even big for 170.
No, he's short.
He's thick, but he's not like...
5'9". Yeah. He's the same height as Conor.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just thick. So...
Yeah, super goofy. Anyway, do they have anything else worth shouting out?
That's all I had covered from them.
Perfect. Yeah, I thought their show was fun this week for sure. So for my catch this week, I had Chael Sonnen's podcast, You're Welcome. It was the episode with Paige Van Zandt in studio. Also, Austin Vanderford was in studio, and Chris Sunshine Williams was in studio. All people who train with Chael up in Oregon.
Like wrestlers?
No. Well, PVZ. And then Austin is a young kid who's coming up in Chael's gym.
Isn't that where Paige is from originally? Oregon?
I thought she was from the Midwest, but I could be wrong.
You're probably right.
You might be right. I don't follow PVZ because she bothers me. And then Chris Sunshine Williams was there, who trains out of that gym. Chris Sunshine Williams, I believe I actually talked about it on a previous episode because he was on Your Favorite Fight podcast with David Golden, I think is the name of the dude that runs that show. They had an awesome episode. You should definitely check that out on Your Favorite Fight podcast if you look up their feed. Chris was on and he talked mad shit, and he actually talked a lot of the same shit in this interview where he's saying, I want to fight James Gallagher. I think James Gallagher is just a broke-ass Conor McGregor in Bellator. He's literally stealing Conor's gimmick and swag jacking as Chael called it gimmick infringement, and then Chris called it swag jacking. But it was just that dude's always funny.
I remember that Gallagher kid, he's like 20, and he has a chest tattoo of an animal too, but his like of a lion.
He's 100% a Conor knockoff. It's not even close.
Like, you already even know Conor's like, Jesus, I know you're my teammate, kid, but come on.
No, Conor fucking loves it because it just strokes his ego so much for some kid to be imitating him and shit and being in Bellator. Also, Chris announced he signed a Bellator contract, which Chris wasn't supposed to announce, but then Chael just kind of said it. And then so it was like one of those things where Chael goes, shit, do I have to edit this now? He goes, no, whatever, you're Chael Sonnen. It's fine. That's good. That's a good announcement then. So Chris is officially with Bellator, which is pretty cool. And he says he wants either James Gallagher, AJ McKee, or Anthony Taylor. All of which I think would be fun as fuck. Chris also clowned Paige Van Zant for the black and white Reebok video because Chael was like, oh, Paige is an expert at social media. He's like, I love my Reebok outfit in the background. And she's like, shut up. She's all pissed. It's fucking great. Paige tells a really shitty joke about strawberries. Cool. Yeah, something along the lines of like, what did the strawberry say to the other strawberry? You're so sweet, that's why we're in this jam.
Oh, God.
Like, thanks, bitch. Thanks for your contribution to the podcast. Austin, the other guy that was there, is fighting Phoenix Jones for a title in a Washington organization.
Isn't it that dude who was like a
superhero?
vigilante? Vigilante. Like,
right.
I'm kidding. Well, yeah, he wants to be a superhero. I don't know.
I mean, he's gotten stabbed. Shot and stabbed. 3 times. So, yeah.
At least trying.
Yeah. Paige Van Zandt also name drops that she's gone to dinner with Conor and that he's a genius. Which she says like 6 times. And Paige does talk about the Jessica Ai fight she has coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which she says that fight got booked because they were both tweeting Sean Shelby asking for a fight at the same time at 125, and Sean mentioned it, and so she texted Jessica Ai being like, are you down to just fight, even though they're friends? Because they've been friends for a while. Jessica Ai was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So they both texted Sean Shelby like, fight's on, let's do this shit. Which is in like 3 weeks or something, super soon. So I think that'll be a fun fight. Although I kind of lean Jessica Ai in that matchup.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Just off of size and Paige. Just no faith in Paige. And the only other thing was Chris Sunshine, apart from being hilarious, says he wants to be on one of the 2 September cards because that'd be rad. So yeah, just a fun fucking episode. I really like Chris Williams. He's super charismatic and talks a ton of shit. But he's funny as hell and real like self-deprecating. He's just a fun dude. I like him a lot. He has a little bit of like preachy Conor-y shit. He's like, I saw Conor came out with a whiskey. I fucking totally want to start a spice rum, like shit like that. But he's like talking about the secret.
Yeah, I won't knock him for that though. I mean, it's a good week to be proud of Conor McGregor, at least for the world of MMA too. He
True.
Yeah,
he shut the fuck up. So yeah, it was a fun episode, and I definitely recommend checking it out, as well as checking out that your favorite fight episode that he was on also. So why don't we jump into your skip for this week?
Mine was the Unfiltered with Michael Che from Saturday Night Live.
Perfect, because I wanted to mention that, because parts of that were okay, except for the Michael Che parts.
Yeah, he just kind of discussed that he doesn't like doing, or no, he's more scared of sketch comedy instead of stand-up because he said it's like he's doing someone else's job. I don't have a problem with Michael Che. He sounded fine to me. He sounded like a nice guy.
Sounded like whatever.
I just got kind of bored. Says he looks up to Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., and Jerry Seinfeld. That's all I really have to say about him.
There were some other people on that episode that were
Justin
solid, right?
Gaethje called in.
That's right. Justin's just personable like always.
Yeah, he's doing the media tour right now for Tough 25. Said he got the fight with Alvarez, I think, because Gaethje said his girlfriend told him she got a text from someone at the UFC, which is kind of funny.
That is funny.
He says he doesn't feel too much pressure in his... he didn't feel pressure in his UFC debut against Michael Johnson last month because of his hard work and preparation. I didn't say dedication.
Right.
Trevor Whitman, who is a fantastic coach out of Colorado and who trained former Olympic boxers, took him under his wing, I think at his gym when Gaethje was still in college at Northern Colorado, I think where he was at.
I believe so.
Yeah. His official prediction for Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee is a third-round TKO in favor of Ferguson.
Yep. Which I could see that.
I can see,
to be fair, I could see that fight going a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, and he says he wants to fight Tony Ferguson the most out of anyone at lightweight, mostly because he's annoyed by how he carries himself outside the cage and thinks he's weird.
I mean, yeah, and then Matt Serra immediately starts making jokes about how he wears sunglasses inside. Because Matt's obsessed with that. I thought it was a fun episode, but fucking Mr. Shea.
And there's other guy, Jamie English in the background.
That was the next episode, wasn't it?
No, it's the same one.
You're right, that was. I actually didn't mind my Jamie English. He was kind of alright. Matt was also super hyped on Roxy's improvement.
Yeah, that's right. I need to find an episode if someone posts it.
Yeah, I ended up watching it on some super legal means online.
I watched it. I'm gonna watch it at a family member's house. That's cable.
Yeah,
that's how I'm gonna do it.
Right, that's what I did. I went to a bar that had cable and watched it. And it was that's right, the one that always shows all the MMAs. It was a fun episode. I mean, Roxy's a beast, and it was fun hearing what's his face, Matt Serra, be all hyped about it. Also Matt Serra talked about getting a Vive in that episode.
Oh, dude, that sounds kind of rad. Like the John Wick game.
Yeah,
like, I haven't played a VR thing in a while. I played it at the Home Run Derby last year for Major League Baseball when it was in San Diego here.
Right.
It was T-Mobile sponsored it. They gave me one. It was a piece of shit. It was like I'm supposed to be hitting home runs, right? But I wasn't in that perspective at all. I was like watching a ball come at me and you can't even react. So it was dumb.
Yeah.
So I hope to somehow one day play one that's legit VR. Like, I want to be in the game, man. Like,
yeah, one of these days I'll end up, I'm sure, getting one of them. But yeah, the Vive is one of the better VR helmets. That and the Oculus, except the Oculus is run by shitheads. And the Vive is the Steam version, so it's way more. Doesn't
HTC make that?
I believe so, yeah. And cool. Everyone seems to prefer that owns a VR helmet. But it's... Yeah, it's pretty rad, but yeah, it was funny hearing Matt Serra talk fucking John Wick. And then the only other thing was Nico Montano called in, the chick from Tough 26, who was born in, I believe, Arizona, in like some small town on a reservation, and Matt Serra can't help but start making, and she was like, oh yeah, Matt Serra asked if it was hard dating on like a small town like that. Oh, shit. She's like, oh well, like it's one of these weird things where you have to ask like what part of the tribe they're in, and if you're the same part of the tribe, then
she's Native,
you're considered like a brother. Yeah, because they grew up on a reservation in Arizona.
Yeah.
Matt Serra's like, oh, I get it, like some Khaleesi shit, like, or well, not Khaleesi, what
Dothraki.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, God. That's a terrible fucking joke.
Exactly, and he's like, do you watch Game of Thrones? She's like, no, I don't. He's like, oh, okay, that was a bad incest joke. You're like, oh, Jesus, Matt Serra. But it was...
And that wasn't, he doesn't even mean incest, when he was talking about it.
It was one of those, like, oh...
They're just basically Native Americans in the Game of Thrones world. That's what...
No, wait. He must not have said Dothraki then. He must have said, who are the people who fuck each other?
Oh, well, Well, yeah, it's spoilers.
It's
Two of the main
spoiler for the
characters.
5 episodes in.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What clan are they?
Oh,
Say it out loud.
Lannisters.
Thank you. Yeah, the
no,
Lannisters.
I wasn't even mentioning that. I was about to spoil another incest happening, which is major spoilers for the show. But yeah, the Lannisters are the ones.
It might have been that one also. Yeah. Anyway, he was making a joke about that, which is very Matt Sarah. All right. So my skip for this week was the MMA Fortnight, which was just Ariel going overboard, shitting on anyone who was critical of the fight at all.
Yeah, I listened to DC from when I didn't write anything down. Chael's I liked because what did he say? Did you remember when he mentioned? Did you listen to Chael had to say about pay-per-view buys? Because what did Dana say they made? $6.5 million.
We were talking about the same one with Oscar De La Hoya on it.
Yeah. Chael's
really? I don't even remember Chael being on.
Yeah,
that.
no. Okay, you saw what the numbers were, right? $6.5 million buys. Says Dana, right?
So I've also heard 3.4.
I heard 4 flat. See, so
yeah.
This is basically Chael's point was he's like, oh yeah, Pacquiao and Mayweather. They said it made 5.4. So that's bullshit. It made about 4 tops.
Yeah, well that's
like 3 to 4 tops. He says they just overinflate it.
Yeah, and Chael also said on his podcast this week that never have you seen a pay-per-view card get more views than a free broadcast TV, free TV broadcast.
Yeah.
Whereas the Conor Floyd TV broadcast got, I think, like 1.8 mil.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but like to be fair, no one gives a fuck about that undercard. Like there was literally no one on that undercard that was worth watching. So, let's see. So yeah, Ariel was super critical. He was mad at anyone saying that on paper it was a farce, despite the fact that it just turned out that fucking Conor can kind of box and Floyd came forward for the first time in 10 years. Oscar De La Hoya is not buying into Ariel's bullshit.
But Oscar De La Hoya is also a hypocrite.
Oh, for sure. He's a giant dick, but he's also just not buying. Like, Ariel keeps trying to get him to say that the fight was, like, competitive, and he just isn't doing it. And he's like, Ariel keeps trying to get him to say that he was 100% wrong. And you're like, I mean, he was kind of wrong. He wasn't 100% wrong. Also, Ariel keeps asking every single guest if Conor could have done better if he didn't get tired, which is like, no shit, dog. Hey, you mean if he didn't get tired, he could have kept boxing? Is that what you're saying?
Dude, it would have gone to decision on that.
You could have said the same thing about every one of Conor's fights with Nate Diaz. Like, yes, that is a thing, Ariel. But for sure, it's not worth asking people about. That's common goddamn sense. And it's like the kind of weird leading question where you're like, there's only one answer to that. Like, what are they going to say? No? If Conor didn't get tired, he still would have gotten fucked up? Which, like, probably is true, but clearly he's leading it so hard. And then Chris Eubanks calls in and talks literary references again, because he likes doing that on that show. And Holly Holm calls in and gives Conor a lot of credit, which shocking. It was nothing spectacular about that episode that stood out to me. I know it was just one of the weaker episodes that Ariel's done, and he kind of just softballed everything in Conor's favor the entire fucking time, and it was pretty annoying. So I recommend skipping that episode, because it wasn't worth anyone's time as far as I'm concerned.
I was going to say, before we get to the can't miss,
Yeah.
instead of doing other solid ones, we do honorable mentions, call them that.
Sure.
Real quick. Yeah. I liked Luke Thomas's Promotional Malpractice, the live chat.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically discussing...
the Wednesday live chat, right?
Yeah. He's basically discussing, is Tyron Woodley unstoppable right now? Who can beat him? I think he was mentioning Jorge Masvidal. That's a very good possibility.
I mean, just off
I think
pace
he mentioned
and volume.
Colby Covington, because I think he says he believes...
I mean, same thing as
I think
Jorge,
he said
yeah.
Covington's, like, basically just good wrestler. Actually, as Woodley, people just don't give Covington credit for it. Because they don't notice him as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Covington.
His wrestling's insane.
Yeah, Colby the Delicious Cheese Covington, as the Hammer MMA calls him, is a fucking beast of a wrestler. He just styled on was it Barbarena not that long ago?
He beat Stun Gun.
Yeah.
Styled on him.
It was somebody that's fighting this weekend, though, too.
Yeah.
I think it was Barberena, but I could be wrong.
They said Conor is hands down the most dangerous fighter in the UFC in the first round, in the first couple minutes. That's Luke's opinion.
That's only because Anthony Johnson isn't in the UFC anymore.
Yes.
But, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he said the fact that Floyd was cautious means something. Says he thought Conor performed very well for what he was expecting and everyone else. Yes. He says MMA fighters are bigger physically than boxers because of the wrestling style weight cutting. He brought this up because someone said, "Hey Luke, I was watching the Fox Sports panel with Dominic Cruz, Jacobs, can't remember his first name, but he was a former middleweight champion boxer, and then there was another boxer on there. There was Woodley was there, the former middleweight champion boxer, and Cruz. And Cruz, they said, physically looked larger than the former middleweight champ.
That's funny.
And he was saying because
he was on a high chair?
It's the way weight cutting goes. They said boxers just be more leaner and smaller.
Yeah.
They don't nearly
Well,
cut
they
as
also
much
have
weight, too.
no lower body.
No.
Like, if you look at Floyd's shins, they're like fucking twigs.
Yeah.
Like, boxers aren't built like him. No one's built like Kevin Randleman in boxing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Woodley, for that matter.
And then he ended it saying, well, I didn't get through all of it, but he said Nate Diaz is going to want too much money for the trilogy fight, probably.
Yeah.
And I'll get to that
Understandably.
too. I will also mention real quick another honorable mention. Submission Radio. I listened to Kevin Lee. He was entertaining on Submission Radio.
He's always fun.
He thinks his fight versus Tony Ferguson is for the real belt.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Understandably,
100%.
yeah. He said 2015 was John Jones' year. 2016 was Cody Garbrandt's. This year will be mine by December when he fights in Detroit.
Dude, that's hard to argue.
Yeah.
He's fought, 3 times already this year?
If he beats Lee, and then... Because this is his plan. He plans to... Or if he beats Ferguson, not if he beats himself. He says, I will beat Tony Ferguson, and then I will defend my real belt against Khabib Nurmagomedov in Detroit. I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah.
And Khabib just said the other day, I will be ready by December. So
Kevin, take that.
because he said too, he's like, if I take out the 2 #1 contenders, he's like, I feel like I'm already gonna definitely beat McGregor because these are the 2 guys that give him the most fits.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. 100%.
And I like that mentality too, because who's ever really defended an interim belt anyway?
Habib against Kevin would be crazy.
And that'd be a close fight too, because Habib's wrestling too. I mean,
That's right.
I can see Habib winning that matchup.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hey man, when it comes to wrestling,
And then, dude, what that would create chaos though too. You say Habib takes that interim belt, then he's definitely because Conor wants it, and he goes, "Let me defend it in Russia or some
he's
shit."
Gonna just
he'll be like, "I have real belt."
So many #1 bullshit quotes.
Yeah, you have #1 bullshit chicken. You know,
right? #1 bullshit belt is what you have.
Yeah. So I would like to see that happen. Let's go Kevin Lee, and then let's Habib beat him in December, and then a real circus will happen.
Either way, I like Kevin. If Kevin Lee gets past both of them, I think he fucks Conor up.
Oh, I think so too. He says the longer Conor doesn't focus on MMA, the bigger ass whooping he's going to get. He said actually, Kevin said he went to the same college as Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
I know Tony Ferguson, I think he's like 30, 31, so he's like 6-7 years older.
Kevin Lee's like 24
But Tony
or
went to college, went back to college, and he said he would see them there, like on campus. Yeah. And he's like... I'm gonna put it how it is. Tony's a fucking weirdo. I don't want to hang out with this guy.
Yeah, I believe it.
He's like, I went during the stare down in media day. I stared through his $10 piece of shit sunglasses and saw fear.
Yeah, and then at one point, on somebody's podcast recently, he said that. I think we mentioned this last week. He said that fucking. He's like, Tony Ferguson's weird. He hangs out with Joe Rogan and Eddie Bravo and all those weirdos and send all that weird kid shit, which is fucking hilarious. Basically being like, yo, Tony does DMT and smokes Halloween. So,
talking about Tower 7.
Yeah, for real. Fucking on some crazy person shit.
And then lastly, I heard Richard Perez, Nate Diaz's coach.
Oh, yeah.
On Submission Radio. He said he thought Conor fought real awkward for Floyd. He did all right overall. He says what he loved from Conor's game was his movement was good, his jabs were real solid, and his uppercuts were good. Other than that, it was mainly his cardio that cost him the fight. So,
right.
Richard Perez, the thing I thought that was pretty ridiculous. He's saying, "Oh yeah, Nate's not gonna fight. The only person he's gonna fight is Conor. He's gonna turn down everyone." I thought that's fair. He wants money. But when he said, and then the guys Casper and Matt, I think their names are. I know I always get them wrong at submission.
I believe you're right.
How much do you think Nate? How much do you think Nate deserves? He's like, "Oh, about 20 to 30 million." They both like kind of stop, like, "Oh, excuse me."
I mean, they're not wrong though, because UFC's gonna make so much motherfucking money off that fight.
I still think
That's the most sellable fight of all time.
I can see them from now on giving Conor about 20 to 30 million. Nate, he got what? One? Was it one or two?
Yeah, but Conor can't draw against anybody. Like, he'll do all right. He's not going to do shit compared to what he would do.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong.
Like, the UFC will make an extra 10 mil for just setting
Don't
up
get me
that
wrong.
fight.
Like, I know Nate's the next biggest draw besides Conor, especially in that weight class. But as far as giving Nate stripped 23, I think it's a little steep. I'd give him 10, 15.
If you give him 15, he might take it.
Yeah, he'll take it. He's gonna take it.
They're gonna ask high. Obviously,
they're gonna give him.
anyway.
They're probably gonna give him around 12, something like that. He'll be happy with 12.
He'll take that.
Yeah, it's still.
And then hopefully they
Conor will make probably 50.
And then
or some
hopefully
dumb
they
shit.
set up a Nick Diaz fight after that.
Oh, I don't see. I think Nick Diaz will never fight again. I think he's just checked out.
Yeah, he's having a good time on Instagram. If anyone follows him on Instagram, that motherfucker's just at pools with hot chicks hing out, going to see flamingos and shit.
Sounds fun.
It's fucking great. His Instagram feed is real good.
I've rambled on. My can't miss this week. Oh no, do you have any honorable mentions?
I do. I have a handful actually.
Yes.
Adam Carolla show actually did a whole episode around the Conor fight where they had cousin Sal, which is Jimmy Kimmel's cousin, who Adam's been friends with for a while, and Kevin Hench, the sports writer, who I'm sure you're familiar with.
I've heard of that name.
Yeah, he writes for I forget who, somebody important.
Probably Sports Illustrated
Or
something
like that.
News.
Nah, it's like one of the big outlets. It might even be Fox. I don't remember. Just some big sports outlet. It's one of the more legitimate ones though. Like it's probably the first one you mentioned. Anyway, they actually recorded their lead up to the Conor fight, and they record all the way up to when the fight's about to start. And then they actually record their reaction afterwards, which is pretty cool. And if you guys don't know, Adam Carolla is a former Golden Gloves boxer in the Valley. I don't know I think he won the title, like the
national?
regional.
I think it was regional guy.
It was regional. Or I believe it was regional. He actually did a movie on boxing that's fucking awesome called The Hammer. If you have a chance, check it out. It's definitely worth watching. It's probably like $2 on Netflix. And it's super good. It's like a really fucking good boxing movie.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, we should do a commentary for that because I swear there's an MMA fighter somewhere in that fucking thing.
Is it like bad? Like
No, it's actually a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be hard to make fun of. But we could definitely make a drinking game out of it if we had to. You're right, it's not bad enough though. But yeah, so nothing amazing. I don't have any huge notes on that show other than it's worth checking out if you like Adam Carolla. Also, Adam bet on Floyd because Mike August talked him into it. So he had like a good.
So you had to bet like at least what, $5,000 I think.
Oh, I think he put more than that.
Oh yeah.
I think it's closer to 10 or 20 on Floyd just straight. And he got him at like 5-something, 530, 550, something like that. Just pretty fucking good odds. Because I made a whole $2 off the Floyd fight after fucking all my props died off and I lost all my early stoppages. Because I had Floyd in the first 3 and Floyd in the first 6. And then I had Lil Wayne coming in without a shirt, which Lil Wayne didn't show up, so that
he wasn't even there, huh? And they didn't play any music, man.
No, but that was one of the bets where I make where I'm like, well, even if he doesn't show up, they'll just refund me. But if he does show up, there's no motherfucking
By
way.
the way, did you buy the fight and actually watch on a streaming thing? Because I know a lot of people got fucked.
Yes, Chris, I totally watched it legitimately.
Or did you go to a bar?
No, I totally watched it.
I went to Trevor's dad's friend's house, Raphael. We just watched it. He'd ordered on cable.
Yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, did you buy it on cable, or did you watch it at a place that had cable?
I watched
like DirecTV, right? Clearly, you went to someone's place to watch DirecTV.
I watched it at a bar for sure. I definitely didn't go on Twitch where everyone was streaming it and just watch that. I went to a bar instead.
Twitch? What's that?
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't just click to the Twitch channel, go to popular streams, and then see the 1,400 different streams of that. I definitely went over to the bar and watched it there. And it was oddly silent in the bar. Only people I could hear was me and my girlfriend. It was weird. You think the bar would be more full, but we definitely watched it at the legitimate bar place.
Cool.
And it was
At the Twitch bar.
And it was an ultra solid stream that didn't have any problems until it did have problems, and then you could just. Ironically enough, you could just
change the channel,
walk one bar over, and it would automatically start working fine when they shut that one bar down. So that's how I watched it. But yeah, you did actually. We'll talk about that here briefly for a second. Actually, we'll save it for the next segment. But yeah, I'm interested to hear how watching it at a party went, because I had a feeling people were having crazy reactions.
Lots of 50-year-old plus old white men jokes.
Yeah, no, I bet.
That's who Trevor's dad.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, semi-accidentally racist white man jokes, I would assume.
A lot.
Some other things I recommend checking out this week, now that we're back on topic. Joe Rogan Experience. They had Brendan Schaub on to talk about the Floyd fight. Rogan opens by clowning Brendan for his shoes that he wore to the Conor Floyd fight, because they're fucking terrible Gucci. They're like Gucci plaid fucking kilt wearing shoes. They look like shoe kilts. Like, they have fucking buckles, and they were plaid, and they were pointy. It's the fucking craziest shit ever. They talk about throwing head kicks with shoes on, like the time what's his face? Who was it? The guy head kicked in Oblivion by I want to say Pete Spratt, but that's not right. Pete somebody. Fuck, I forget. Anyway, they talk about that. They got super off topic. Schaub mentions that. Oh, Schaub does mention that guys always do one or two things after a knockout. Either they get super sad or super mad, which I thought was an interesting take. And you see it a lot in fights. You see guys get really upset or really sad, which makes sense. I mean, it's going to be a huge swing of emotion when you're having, like, when your brain is
if I got knocked out,
like
I'd probably just be depressed.
Well, when your brain is shorting out like that, it's just like, you got to imagine it's just trying to connect dots and freaking out. And then it goes off the rails. Rogan makes a really sweet Large Marge reference to some impression of Brendan Schaub talking about what ladies sound like. Then there's a lot of movie talk. They talk about Mars Attacks. There's some car talk and baseball talk. And in the end, talking a handful about the fight, and Rogan made some solid points about Floyd fighting 100% outside of his style in the last 10 years and making it an actual fight, which I thought was respectable. Unfiltered had Ricardo Almeida on, who's awesome to hear. That dude's super smart, and I really enjoy listening to him. They open with a bunch of Conor Floyd talk, and Ricardo talks about how he got into BJJ and started training in Henzo's. Jimmy Norton calls in. Matt Serra drops the line, "Hey Jimmy, I tried a new cock pill. We'll talk about it off air. I think it's called Rhino something." Which
he made fun of him for that.
Yeah, and anyone that's heard any of the Brian Redban Icehouse Chronicles or Joe Rogan Experience episodes, you will know that it's definitely called Rhino something. It's called Black Rhino, and Brian Redban's a big fan. Which you can find at gas stations, but it probably has like meth and steroids in it. So just full disclosure, because Redban had a panic attack on one of those because he was so methed out from it. Let's see, Matt and Ricardo talk about fighting on the same cards back in the day, like when Matt fought Shoney Carter and when he fought Eve Edwards. Just like a lot of fun old fight stories. Talk a bit about like Ricardo coaching Frankie Edgar and the leg lock game and how it applies to fighting, especially for like the Danaher Death Squad guys versus like regular leg lock game. Just a fun episode, and I liked it. Heavy Hands, just interesting breakdown of Conor Floyd. They had I feel like the most realistic and impressive talk on it.
Yeah,
a lot on like how the stance switching helped both people. Talk about how much bullshit was said regarding Conor's chances to win. Pat Wyman and Conor do everything but shout out Robin Black for his bullshit predictions. They basically are like, there's people out there who just make predictions and just say things to say them, and since there's no penalties and you don't have to ever be held accountable, they just say that, like, oh, he's using he's changing the game and he's using revolutionary angles and all this like bullshit. It's like, I mean, it's not those things don't exist. It's that Conor is good at those things. And Pat and Robin have also been going back and forth at each other and throwing shade on Twitter, which has fucking been happening because Robin has been saying some crazy outlandish shit, especially after this fight. And it's just like, I like Robin, but man, it's kind of rough. They talk about why Conor landed more than anyone else on Floyd, and it's because of Floyd decided to walk forward and pressure, which he doesn't done to anyone in 10 years. Let's see. We talk how Floyd crowding Conor took a lot of sting off his shots, and how if Conor comes back, how his strike's gonna, how his new skills are going to apply, and then some of their hesitancy for picking Struve against Volkov, and they're so fucking hyped for Barberena. Which
that's good news for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since you have Barberena on the fantasy league, that is super good news for you. Some other ones I'll shout out quickly. Jordan Breen Show did a back to normal episode where him and Ant Walker talked about rap for like the first 20 minutes. It was great. A lot of Black Hip, Jordan Breen shitting on Absol from Black Hippie and saying he's overrated, and then talking about
Isn't that Kendrick's guy, or are they not?
Yeah. And then they're talking about old 2000s rap and like crazy Nas art covers and.
By the way, speaking of
all
Nas,
that shit.
do you see who he's going to be in concert with at San Diego State on October 3rd?
I did not.
Miss Lauryn Hill. And you know who else is going to be there introducing them? Probably doing some stand-up? Hannibal Buress.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. Hannibal does those kinds of shows.
Yeah, my brother wants to go so bad. I might actually go with them.
That sounds like an expensive show, but
it's actually
cool.
only $45 for the worst seats. So that's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
Because State's small, dude. The open air theater. Not
True.
Viejas. See, then it'd be a ripoff.
Yeah.
But no, it's at open air theaters. So it's actually not that bad.
That isn't too bad, actually. But yeah, they talk a lot about that. They talk about Kevin Lee's marketability and Savage Twitter game. The crazy famous people in the crowd during the Conor Floyd fight. Like Steve Harvey and Diddy with this crazy Sunday church hat.
I didn't see Harvey or Diddy, but...
Diddy has the craziest Sunday church hat. It was going to be our artwork for this week's episode until I saw, when I was rewatching the fight, I saw Conor look like he was fucking Floyd in the middle of the ring. So that's officially our artwork, obviously.
It's pretty great.
Because he legit looks like he's just banging him. It's uncomfortable. Ant drops the phrase, Hennessy can happen. Or no, sorry. Anything can happen.
Oh my.
Which I didn't know was a phrase. But Ant Walker's like, yo, that's been around for like a year now. And it's awesome. And Jordan Breen is like, I'm so fucking into anything can happen. That is awesome. So, yeah, a bunch of good shows. I'll mention two lines about a couple of them. Believe You Me did an episode called Croissant. Great. Because, of course, Bisbing calls croissants and he gets all mad because the Americans use the French pronunciation of some things and not others. Bisbing says he weighs 216 right now and he was 225 recently. He talks Conor Floyd and Conor's problem with gassing. It's actually one of their better episodes, and it's a pretty good take on it. I think it's because they were actually in the same hotel room for this one in LA. I think them being in the same room really helped them. There was a lot less like Skype issue, which like for you and me, I feel like it was less of an issue, but I feel like for other podcasts,
it's kind of interesting, kind of hilarious considering I was in fucking Europe.
Well, true, but I mean, like, I think most of it is the people's timing. Like, because Bisbing and Lewis are both, like, guys who talk a shitload, whereas, like, you and me will all say a fucking monologue, and you'll answer for a bit, and I'll say a monologue. Yeah. Like, we kind of have a rhythm, whereas I feel like with Lewis and them, it was kind of like they both wanted to constantly talk over each other, so there'd be a lot of fighting over Skype with it.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel like they do constantly have shitty Skype connections, so it's good to hear them in the same
They
room.
probably just don't set it up the right way.
Well, maybe, yeah, that could be it too. Hammer MMA, I haven't listened to the show in a bit, but I really liked it. Talk a lot about Conor and the this weekend's Rotterdam card. It's just a solid episode and a good example of what that show is like. Fury's fight picks. Luca Fury, of course, does his fight pick episodes, podcast or whatever the fuck he calls it. I didn't know that he only gives out main event picks nowadays. He used to pick the whole card. Evidently nowadays he only picks the main event and then gives out the rest on Twitter. And he's real mad about how bad heavyweight is. And then the last one is I listen to Stud Radio, which is the Alpha Male Podcast. AJ Agazarim and Lance Palmer and Studboy were all in studio, and Justin Buttholes is out of town. Good episode. They just talk a lot about like good wrestling coaches and bad wrestling coaches they've had, and their love of Kevin Randleman. They're currently doing a giveaway because one of their boys is about to fight. He's trying to pay for his flight expenses. So they are doing a GoFundMe where if you pitch $10 for every $10 you donate to the GoFundMe, you get a raffle ticket for a chance to win a glove signed by Alpha Male that has any four Alpha Male fighters you pick sign it.
That's sick.
Or for $400, you can just buy one and they'll just all sign it. Which is pretty cool. Even if you can either buy one for $400 or you can just enter, do $50 and get 5 raffle tickets for a chance, which is pretty dope of them. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. And I think even if you buy one for $400, you still get entered in the raffle part too. Oh, neat. Which is pretty cool. So yeah, they're just trying to pay for all the expenses so he doesn't lose a shitload of money or anything. And they're like, yeah, any alpha male fighter that's still on the team that's easy to get a signature from, clearly hinting obviously not TJ, you fucking dicks. Yeah. We know you're gonna try and pull for that. So it's pretty funny overall. But yeah, that was not recommendations. What are we calling them?
Just kind of honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Other good ones.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't you give us your can't miss?
Yeah, I think you've heard of this one. It's Daniel Cormier's podcast. Pretty new.
What?
Yeah, this is episode 5.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's called Talk and Talker. It's with Daniel Cormier and Nick Swimmer. It was fucking great. It's on iTunes.
Daniel Cormier is a fucking podcast?
Yeah, look.
Dog. What the
dude,
fuck?
It's real funny.
How have I never heard about this? It's literally it's not a character that someone's playing Daniel Cormier?
Yeah, look. That's the logo.
Talk and Talker.
It's great, dude.
Dude, yeah, what the fuck?
So in this episode, he discussed the loss to Jones. He began...
You're blowing my mind right now.
I know. That's why I didn't want to say shit, because I was going to text you there saying, bro... Listening to DC's podcast is hilarious.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah.
This is probably the first time you brought up.
They've only done 5 episodes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and count this as your new episode for this week, also, right?
Yeah.
Talk and Talker with DC, huh? I'm fucking hyped. Anyway, what were you saying?
So he begins talking about just doing vacation time after his loss of 214.
Yeah.
This was in Hawaii. He said about a week before that.
I was gonna say I thought he was on vacation.
Okay. He did that, but a week before, he was talking about seasick troubles. So he was in Santa Cruz with Luke Rockhold. DC was with his nephew and a couple other people from AKA. They went on a deep sea fishing trip. And he said, hey, he had coffee and a Red Bull. And he's like, well...
That's a bad plan.
And he said, my stomach didn't agree. He's like, so about 20 minutes after we were already near the deep part of the water and we couldn't go back, hey, guys, I got to take a shit. And then my buddy was like, well, sorry, this is only a 12-foot boat or whatever, 15-foot boat. We don't have a bathroom. And he's like, oh. So he had to bend his ass over the front part of the boat with the wind blowing towards him and take a shit.
So that means everybody else on the boat had to smell his shit.
Yeah, and he said Luke Rockhold was laughing, filming him on Snapchat or something as he was walking back saying, how is your shit?
Oh my god.
There's that.
What is
this
he
said he said a week later he's in Hawaii with his family, all his kids and his wife. Same thing happened in Hawaii. He ate some gnarly concoction of food, or I don't know if he got sick. He said, thank God the boat I was on this time was 60 feet long and there was a bathroom. He said, but he said, it combined with the seasickness I later got. So then he was thrown up too.
Jesus. Poor Daniel Cormier.
He
Dude can't catch a break.
He talks about he hasn't cashed his fight check from 214. It was $1 million even. It's still in a safe at home because he's still just feeling like shit mentally, I guess, from just the results and from the news.
Man. Yeah.
Of John Jones testing on
Holy
steroids.
shit! I can't believe I didn't know he had a fucking
He said when he heard about
podcast.
Jones's news, Dana White personally called him, and he immediately felt sick to his stomach. Was feeling
Good for
panicked,
Dana
was
on calling him, man.
Yeah. He says he felt like Dana's a great promoter because he legitimately felt Dana felt really bad and was like just really sad as well because it's such
Dana's
shit
sad
news.
because he's losing money, but yeah.
But yeah, he said he had to throw up immediately after hearing that news. I would too. He said it's gonna be a while till he says that it's gonna be a while till Jones's B sample comes back. And for people that don't know what a B sample is when you have a urine test, you pee into 2 different cups to kind of just see if one part of the result is different than the other.
Yep.
Most likely, I think the B sample's gonna come back probably positive.
It almost never has come back negative.
Yeah. So he says for now, DC says I have a good while before I decide what my next move is. So I'm going to give Jones due process. So I don't see DC fighting until 2018. That's what's going to happen.
Probably.
Barring if Jones is guilty of cheating or if they do ban him.
Yeah.
It means DC will be the champ again. He says the funny thing about Cain Velasquez is while he's had all this time off and stuff, kind of trying to recover and get healthy again and train, he always gets private screening opportunities from Hollywood. And he
says
just about films. Yeah. He said just about every other week, Cain takes some of his friends into DC and he invites the other AK guys to go see new movies all the time. He said he saw the movie Baywatch and he says it was terrible. So it was a complete waste of time and unfortunate.
That checks out.
Yeah. And he said, and Nick Swimmer, his co-host, quoted him. DC was like saying, "Yeah, there's some movies I've just been to that are just boring." And he quoted, "I can't stay awake if I fall asleep." And then Nick Swimmer started laughing. He's like, "Well, clearly you can't be awake if you are asleep."
Right.
It's one of those things. DC praised Conor McGregor's form. Says he might be one of the greatest promoters ever. Considering going from collecting welfare 4 years ago to now you just made $100 million, that's a good point. Like, imagine you're on welfare. Like, hey, in 4 years, I'll make $100 million against Floyd Mayweather. People are like, yeah, good joke.
Right.
So, yeah, good on Conor. DC thinks Conor would have demolished Rafael dos Anjos. I could see that, I guess, maybe because of the Alvarez fight. I don't know. I wouldn't say demolished. I would pick him against RDA now. But, like, I still am not convinced.
Who knows, yeah. It depends on what game plan and RDA came out with and how well he adapted to the range. Like, because RDA on the ground would fucking maul Conor, but it's whether or not he can get that fight to the ground. Which I would argue RDA might be a better wrestler than Eddie. But it kind of depends on what fight, man. Like, there's... Just like there's different Eddie Alvarez's that have shown up, there's different RDAs that have shown up, you know?
Yeah, very true. DC says that belt matters, but the matchup is what we care about the most. That's what I'm talking about Conor versus Diaz. Like, say it doesn't even have to be for belt. People still watch it. And they said this is the first, I think Nick Swimmer mentioned, this is the first time ever that Al Heyman, Floyd's manager, has ever been on video, apparently. Like, it's some Illuminati shit.
Oh, yeah. Everyone freaked out when he was on video.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Pretty funny.
So, yeah, that was Talkin' Talker, Daniel Cormier's podcast. It was hilarious.
Sweet, man. I am excited to fucking subscribe to that and start listening to it. That's very cool. My can't miss this week is the 24-hour Sherdog Marathon that was held in honor of Javi Vasquez, who recently was diagnosed with colon cancer.
I heard about that.
They are doing a fundraiser. I believe it's still going on. I believe it's tiny.cc/tapcancer. Let me make sure I'm right on that while we're doing this. Yep. And it is still going. They have a goal of 35,000. They are currently at 49,905. So if you guys want to donate to that, I absolutely recommend it. I have personally. But they do, every once in a while, they do a 24-hour marathon to try to... generally, I think it's always been cancer, actually, that they try to raise money for fighters or people in the industry who are suffering with that shit and trying to pay medical bills, which that shit adds up quickly. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much, but I've been through that stuff with someone recently, and it's a tough situation, and it those bills and just the stress and everything adds up real quickly. So, very cool of them to do that stuff. And they had a fucking amazing 24-hour marathon. I'm just gonna list off who they had and what the shows are. MMA Sunday School, which is, I believe, Caleb's show. Nope, sorry. MMA Sunday School with Scott Holmes and Rodney Dean. That's an old school Sherdog Radio podcast, back when it was barely called podcasts. So that is definitely one. If you guys want to hear an MMA show that's barely about MMA, check that one out. Beatdown with TJ DeSantis. TJ DeSantis had Jack Encarnacio on, along with a couple other people that for some reason it's not listing on the thing I'm looking at. Oh, sorry, Lutfi and I forget who else. It was just like a regular Beatdown episode where they talked about what's current. Eddie Bravo Radio did a Flat Earth Revisited episode where they talked about Flat Earth stuff.
That reminds me, dude, someone on Reddit, I think I saved the GIF, but it's when Eddie was so high, he was just like this. Like, he's just like...
Oh, I use it all the time.
And he's just like...
Yeah, where he's looking around...
He's like breathing really hard.
Yeah, he was looking around with snake eyes the entire time. It's like...
Yeah.
Like,
that was the Flat Earth one, or was that the Tower 7 on JRE?
Something like that. No, I think it was one of the times when he was too high and he couldn't figure out what they were actually talking about. But it's like the skeptical hippo Eddie face, essentially. If Brendan Schaub was to name it. Shit. I just clicked away from that on accident. What other ones did they have on there? They also had... Sorry, I'm trying to find it again. Oh, God. There we go. Calculus of Combat. Ant Walker and his co-host, Murph Baldwin, have a show called Calculus of Combat. If you guys look up the feed for Fight Nights, Fight, KNIGHTS, they are a show that Ant Walker used to do a show with a guy named... Julian, I believe, called Fight Nights, and they stopped doing that show. However, Julian sat in with Ant on this Calculus of Combat show, which is one that Ant has been doing for I think the last month or so, and it's really good. It's Ant Walker, if you guys don't know, is one of the guys who runs the board over at Sherdog. He works the Jordan Breen show a lot right now, and just a good dude. I talked to him on Twitter. He does great play-by-play for on Twitter for Invicta cards, and just not play-by-play, but more like commentary, just like Twitter commentary on it. Cool dude, and super nice every time I've talked to him. The Outsiders, which is Josh Gross and Jeff Sherwood, formerly of Sherdog, obviously. They actually sat in and did an episode for that marathon, which is real cool. They mostly talked on the lead up to the Conor Floyd stuff, and Jeff went through and talked a bit more about the crazy prop bets that are available. Micah Miller and Cole Miller were in studio, and they did and they also had Jorge Masvidal call in, and they went through and just talked about whatever shit they were into, and just a classic kind of Micah Miller or whatever he feels like kind of episode. And then Ian McCall had for his Uncle Creepy or story time with Uncle Creepy, had Javi Vasquez in studio with him talking about what's going on in CBD and cannabis and all kinds of stuff. And that leads us into what I wanted to briefly discuss, which is my new episode for this week and also ties into this can't miss. All right, so for our new episode, I am going to do, it's kind of a combo new episode. So Jordan Breen has a new show called Collapsed MMA.
Oh, cool.
So, Chris, I've told you briefly on this show about the Lapsed Fan podcast, right?
Yeah, I've heard of the
Lapsed Fan, which is all about pro wrestling back in the days when it was good. And they call themselves Lapsed Fans because it's like they think pro wrestling is garbage nowadays. So they talk about all the old 90s cards that were awesome. They did 30 episodes leading up to WrestleMania 30 and all that stuff. Yeah. Where they broke down they do 6 hours in that ass breakdowns of that's their description of what the of every detail of the card, and they would go down through each match. So Jordan Breen did a version of that for the they're called Collapsed MMA, which is a new show that him and TJ debuted, which is fucking awesome. They did it for the K1 Dynamite show, which is K1 Dynamite USA. Is the title on it. It's the one that was held in LA at the Coliseum, and they had what's his face on. That was the one that had Brock on it for his first MMA fight.
Oh yeah.
Or I think it was his first. Maybe it was his second. I think it was his first though. Originally, so my first new episode I'm going to shout out for this, which is barely a new episode, is Beat Down After the Bell, K1 Dynamite USA. Which is also actually known as the Beat Down After the Bell Gracie Sakuraba breakdown. This was recorded right after the event happened. TJ and Jordan Breen actually did a breakdown back in 2007, I believe it was, or maybe 2004, right after this card happened. They start by breaking down all the fights. Mike Fridley says that the number of people in attendance is 50,000, which is hilarious, and you'll come to find out why that's hilarious here in a minute. They say they're trying to stay positive for the first hour and not talk about DJ Hopper. And then here's a quote. "This is not a local show in the Midwest. You're not Big Papa Shinaki." Gross calls in from the venue to give his attendance estimates, which is he guessed around 30,000. All right, so for that Collapse MMA show, Jordan Breen opens with TJ DeSantis. Saying they're going to occasionally cover old crazy MMA cards that few people remember. Essentially, it's a lapsed fan style breakdown, which we mentioned, all up in that ass, which is of course a solid lapsed fan reference. Of the 90,000 capacity attendance at the Coliseum in LA, they had a record 18,340 people paid. Nope, sorry, that was a total attendance, was 18,340 out of 90K. You want to guess what the paid attendance of that 18,000 was?
Like
how many do you think they gave away?
Oh, out of the wait. So you said only 18,000 people showed up, but out of the 90,000 capacity?
Yeah. So how many of the 18,000 tickets do you think they just gave away to people?
Like 10.
10 tickets?
10,000.
No. The total paid number of tickets was 3,000.
Oh my God.
So they gave away 15,000 tickets.
Yeah.
The funnier part, I think they bought around 60,000 tickets.
Oh, yikes.
No, sorry, 39,000 tickets were paid, which they also had to pay surcharges on. So if you wonder why Japan was bad at shit in LA and the US, that would be why. Also, they talk about how Tim Piercy, who fought on the card, tested positive for methamphetamine after fighting. Breen mentions that before he records this, he went drunken axe throwing for his girlfriend's best friend's birthday.
Right.
Because he lives in Canada, and that's what you do when you live in Canada, is you get drunk and you go axe throwing every
Oh,
night.
to be fair, that's what Max Holloway did on the Embedded It for when he was at 206 in Toronto. He did axe throwing. He was actually amazing at it. Yeah, I remember he's like, this is how they do it in Toronto.
Yeah.
He's like, Max Bless Holloway. And we fucking did like 2 bullseyes.
That's super funny.
Yeah.
They cover everything on the card, from Dennis Rodman's crazy speech about how this is better than the UFC, to DJ Hoppa, who is the DJ, the in-house DJ for the event, who you can hear over the mic the entire time and keeps interrupting fucking Jordan, like, not Jordan.
And remind me, what's the name of this show again that they put on? That no
K1 Dynamite USA. So K1 was like a famous org over in Japan.
I know they were
kickboxing. But they would do MMA fights also, which was their Dynamite.
Clearly they're just not marketable.
Right. Well, yeah. But so this was their crazy USA card, which was like fucking chaos.
Yeah, people on meth.
Yeah, just an insane commentary team of Morrow, Jake Laser, and Bill Goldberg. Was the commentary team, and Morrow just keeps getting so mad because there's this DJ Hoppa guy who's spinning in the building and like doing like terrible announcements, like Like, the crowd will be booing, and he literally says at one point, "Oh, no, boos from the crowd," during a fight, which just makes them boo more. And, like, shit like that. Or he keeps calling him Royce Gracie, like, God 6 times. It's really bad. Speaking of roided out Royce Gracie, who came in at a 38-1 testosterone ratio for this fight. He super lost to Sakuraba on a rewatch, which is ridiculous. And then Jordan Breen is completely trashed by the end of the show. Just great it's a great show all around and a lot of fun. But it's so hot in here that's my dog actually having a panic attack in the background.
Yeah, dude, he was fine lying right there.
Hey, Grandpa Seamus. See, he's fine if I go up and talk to him, but right now he's having a panic attack. So we are going to turn some fans on and take a break. When we get back, we will talk about Dynamite Tuesday Night Contender Series. Hopefully my dog is still alive by then. And we will also break down some Conor Floyd talk and some other stuff. So check out this clip of Snoop. And oh my god, I have to rescue my dog right this second.
I see him do these stepping elbows, short elbows. Whoa, wow. Put him down. Elias is hurt. Where's the lullaby? Where's the lullaby?
Goodbye, baby. On the tree
you can't cover like that.
Big John McCarthy gonna call it a stop.
All right, what up? We are back. I just poured myself. I forgot to mention, Chris. We have not yet once mentioned what beer we're drinking. What beer are we drinking this week?
So
from Stone Brewing.
Stone Brewing has teamed up with great. I just call them legendary.
Legendary, absolutely.
No effects.
Fat Mike.
Yep.
On deck.
And of course, their beer. It's a hoppy lager called Punk in Troublic, named after one of their best albums.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, Chris, you know the best NoFX line of all time? Well, actually, that's not true because The Decline probably has it. But my favorite hook from NoFX is, of course, "Don't drink and drive. You might spill your drink."
Yeah, oh yeah.
Before you get behind the wheel, just stop and think. I don't care. Oh, what is it? How many people I kill? All I care is how much beer I spill.
Yeah.
But The Decline is for real the best song they've ever made, and it's probably the greatest song in all of punk music. You know The Decline, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Brum. I would play it on the show, but it's 18 minutes long, so probably.
Well, now I gotta listen to it again.
Yeah, no, it's literally 18 minutes. As a matter of fact. That's how I used to spend guitar class when I was a kid. We had a 2-hour or an hour and a half guitar class where I would play The Decline 4 times every day with Clint Honorado. Shout out to that, bro.
Did they get sick of that quick?
Well, it didn't matter because it was me and 3 other dudes playing, or 4 other dudes playing it, or no, 3 other dudes playing it. So yeah, we would just, and there's so many different segments to it that it's fucking. You can kind of do that. Anyway, now that we're way off trouble, way out of trouble. Yeah, way out of trouble and off topic. We will go ahead and talk about what the fuck has happened in the last week, Chris. It feels like it's been 18 years since the last podcast. There was a Bellator event that happened. I don't remember shit about it.
I didn't see any of that.
I saw every single fight on it. I don't remember anything. It's because of how weird this weekend was. I also watched an ACB event, I think. on Saturday
Are those
last
the
week.
evil guys with Kadyrov or no?
I mean, they're
Sometimes.
in Chechnya,
Yeah.
and they have Akhmat MMA fighters, but and Kadyrov was in attendance. Yeah, and actually, no, you know what? They're pieces of shit. He was in attendance and prominently featured on the broadcast.
Because I saw someone again brought up on Reddit, like, how come fighters, besides obviously the factor has to be being paid to show up, will even meet this piece of shit they named Verdum?
Oh, it's because they get paid millions of
Gustafsson,
dollars.
I
Yeah.
think Velasquez visited that guy.
Oh, everyone has. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Frankie Edgar, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, all the Abdelaziz guys, which is
Whom, by the way, is on the FBI's most wanted list, I think, still?
yeah, he can't leave the
Or
country.
terror watch list.
Yeah, he can't leave the country.
Yeah.
Which is why it's double funny that all of his fighters go and hang out with a literal known terrorist who literally fucking goes through and kills mass people in his country for being ultra gay. So shouts out to Ali Abdelaziz for being the biggest shit in MMA.
I think you meant Kadyrov is anti-gay, right? Isn't that what you meant?
He kills people for being gay, is what I said, right?
No, you said a guy who kills people and is ultra gay.
Well, hey, if you're killing people for being gay and you're that mad about it, bro, you love dick.
Of course. He's
no,
very closeted.
For sure.
But it was just a context. Just for like, this guy's very anti-gay.
You're right, Chris. I should start posting pictures of Kadyrov sucking dick on every MMA forum.
No,
I agree with you.
No, I agree with
you.
No, listen.
No, I'm totally on board.
What you said before is Kadyrov kills people because he's ultra gay. It was because, like, the context. I was just making it clear for people who listen.
But I'm saying...
Not saying he's gay.
No, but I'm agreeing.
People.
Because if you're killing gay people...
Oh, no, we know that.
You're
the guy's
super closeted.
He's super closeted, yeah. Yeah, the guy should just admit it. He's clearly fucking...
No, he thinks dicks are delicious. He's the gay Action Bronson, is what I like to refer to him as. Unfortunately for Action Bronson, because he's just a nice guy and he doesn't hate any of the gay people, but... anyway, this is not a breakdown of Kadyrov and how he's a piece of shit. This is a breakdown of Conor Floyd. I wanted to talk about briefly, ironically enough, before we got to.
So, how many rounds did you initially think this would last?
So I think I picked an 8th round TKO by Floyd last week.
I told my brother 6 to 8 rounds finished by Floyd.
Yeah, and it was 10th round, which I get. I mean, it was, to be fair, it could have been stopped in the 9th probably. It was a fight. It was mostly what I expected. I didn't expect Floyd to walk forward like he did.
I didn't expect it at all.
And some interesting things to note. Judges everyone gave the first round to Conor, which is right.
One judge didn't.
Really? I thought all 3 did.
No, that's what co-main event was saying, except for one judge.
No, I thought that was the second 2 rounds. I thought everyone.
Oh
gave Conor
yeah.
the
You're
first.
right.
So yeah, everyone gave Conor the first, which is like because Floyd literally like threw like
6 punches, right?
6 punches and like most of them didn't land, or like the 6 that did land, like most of them were to the body and way out of range. However, some things to note for everyone quoting those stats. Fucking Conor set the record, as far as I can tell, on punches to the back of the head in boxing.
Oh, of course.
Dude,
Hammer fist.
Well, first off, Chris, so we'll get to this. So round 2 and 3, did you give it to Conor?
I gave him the first 3 rounds. I think that was it.
So round 2 and 3, I gave to Conor, and I still think I would give it to Conor. However, everyone should note, because clearly no one is, all the shots to the back of the head don't count as points. Every single hammer fist doesn't count as points.
No, of course.
Because that's not an actual strike in boxing.
No, that doesn't. It doesn't.
And it's
count.
Illegal. So if you hit to the back of the head, or if you hit with a hammer fist, none of that counts towards your points landed. Which was 75% of his offense in this fight. I just rewatched it today, right before this. It's the majority of the strikes Conor landed are hammer fists to the back of the head.
Do you think out of this 111 that fight metric counted, do you think half of those for the back to the head hammer fist?
It's not a block strike. And I'm not good at counting, like strike counts and shit. And to be fair, how those things work is they have 3 people sitting in a booth, and if 2 of the 3 hit the button, it counts as a strike, and they just click it every time they think something landed, which is a fucking shitty way to calculate that.
That makes
it's all live. They do it in live time. They don't do it on replay or anything.
Yeah, from what I remember, the Hammer Fist, I think he did that 3 different times in succession.
Oh my God, Chris!
Or was it 4 or 5? How many different times did he go like this?
If you were to count like series, maybe like 10. If you were to count single strikes, probably. I mean, it's like a good 60% of his offense.
I'd say out of the 111 strikes, I'd say 65 of those were hammer fists.
Yeah,
does that sound about right?
Hammer fist or shots straight to the back of the head, not touching the ear.
Yeah, so realistically,
where he's like 3/4 of the way around it and banging him.
He probably had 56 real boxing punches out of the 111.
Maybe. Man, it's upsetting to rewatch. Like, they're almost all illegal strikes. By boxing definition rules. Like, because in boxing, if you guys don't know, you can look it up on the ABC website. Essentially, I believe they're scored on effective strikes, which is it's not damage. I forget the word they use. But it's like essentially they're saying not pitter patch bullshit. Like significant strikes over volume. I think it's significant over volume is how they describe it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They're kind of like how they have octagon control, that kind of thing.
And then they have aggression, they have ring control, and they have defense as number 4.
Defense. See, I wish they would have that technically in the UFC, because you get the elusive fighters like Cruz,
and that's why people
are defensive rating, right?
And that's why everyone who's citing punch stats, number 1, all of you need to realize that defense counts as part of those punch stats, and if you're actually citing the reason why you're wrong most of the time, because it's Conor landed 26 out of 130 and Floyd landed 6 out of 30, and you're like, you're not really helping. I mean,
my God.
I don't necessarily disagree with you that Conor won the round, but saying that it's not even close is a fucking farce, because a lot of the shit Conor landed when you rewatch that fight are super glancing. The only thing he landed significantly over and over again.
Right?
There's one uppercut that looks real good on replay, but
wasn't there a jab too?
Look good live. There's a couple jabs, but that Floyd is leaning with. There's he lands a couple good jabs, and mostly it's the left straight to the body that he lands really well. Okay. A handful of times, left straight to the body and the right behind the elbow, to the body. Like, those are those combos. He would throw a 6-piece combo, and he would hit the left to the body, he would hit the right to the body, he would hit nothing to the face, and he would end with, a left to the body. And that was the combo. But it would be like a 9-piece combo.
So, as Struve would say, a nice piece combo with some wings.
Yeah, exactly. But it was... I get upset about how many people are giving him credit for the punch stats. When you look at the punch stats, people are trying to give him the 8th round. I've seen multiple people try to give him the 8th round. If you rewatch the 8th round, the only thing he lands that is at all even legitimately landed are all strikes behind the head almost, and a couple body shots. I feel like everyone's counting the rabbit punches, which that's not a punch. In boxing, hitting with that side of your fist does not count as a landed punch. Happen. Well, it just doesn't count as a landed punch.
Yeah, and also it should never happen.
Well, yeah, because it's literally right to the back of the head 90% of the time. The amount of times he bludgeoned Floyd in the back of the head is fucking unacceptable. I'm so surprised the ref allowed any of that shit, because that's why I actually bet on someone getting a point taken away, because I figured Conor would do exactly that kind of shit.
2 taken away.
Well, no, they should have at least brought it up and not told Floyd, "Hey, stop ducking your head," which is that's not a rule in boxing.
Because I even saw Floyd go
you can duck as much as you want.
He was
it's fucking insane. So it was a really weird fight. I scored it, so I still do give the first 3 rounds to Conor.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. Other than that, it was the rest seemed like
much closer than
there was a couple close rounds, but I just don't see how you could confidently would say something like, well, Conor got like the 8th round.
Well, and even so, like I give the first 3 rounds to Conor. First round is Conor's 100% because Floyd's literally just waiting for him to do crazy shit.
He was playing chess.
Yeah, he was just sitting there waiting and feeling it out. The next 2 are real close because Conor throws a shitload, but he lands almost exclusively on Floyd's gloves outside of body shots. So it's, again, unimpressive. Everyone's like, the way I've been hearing people talk about what Conor did. And everyone, I feel like every MMA fan that talks about how well Conor did, none of them have seen Floyd fight. Like, they all act like that's what Floyd looks like every time.
See, I won't say that because I've watched boxing before.
Well, I went back and I've watched 30 of Floyd's last 50 fights. Mostly I wanted to watch his amateur shit because I thought that's more of the style he would come out with. Cause that's what he said.
No, it was. That's when he was pressing forward. He was younger, when he was like in his 20s.
Yeah, literally 10 years ago.
Yeah, especially against killers like Jose Luis Castillo, man. He was going piecing that dude the fuck up.
Yeah, or like in the Olympics. So he won that fucking... Dude, he got bronze in the Olympics only because they fucked him. Because he beat that dude in his Andy fight. He fucked that guy up, but the guy landed a couple good sequences, so they gave it to him because it was super favored. But, I'm while being impressed with Conor... I feel like Conor fans make me less impressed with him because of the way they talk about it, and that's kind of the way I feel about that his career. Like, Conor fans make Conor less likable, right? Do you feel the same way, or am I just like am I a fucking shitty Conor hater
for me,
because I love the Diaz brothers too much?
No, well, that's part of it, a little bit. Don't get me wrong, I like both.
Oh, Conor could eat a dick if I had to pick a side.
It's just the fans. That's always what it is.
I mean, they're especially the worst. Like,
they're terrible. I'm a Conor fan. I like Conor McGregor. I like to watch him fight.
I liked him before he was a shithead.
You know what? I'd have a beer with him. He seems like a pretty decent guy.
I wouldn't, because I feel like he'd be awful to hang out with. But
it depends. I don't know.
Because you know if you hung out with him, you have to hang out with Dylan.
Well, I'd be like, fuck that fool. I'm just saying,
exactly.
I'm just saying, like, if it was just me and him, like, he'd be like, hey, what's going on, blah, 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 and he'd be hyper, but yeah, sure, he'd be a pretty chill dude, have a beer with him, blah,
Not
blah.
according to Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt says he's a genius, and he's very down to earth.
Well, that's because she doesn't have that many brain cells, because she fights, and that's just who she is.
Chris, I'm gonna break some fucking rough news to you. I don't think the fact that Paige Van Zandt fights has anything to do with her.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. And I said, and that's because that's who she is.
Yeah.
Like, that's like plus.
I don't think she started out with any more than she has right now.
Double less brain cells.
Yeah.
So she's losing brain cells she never really had.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, shouts out to Paige Van Zandt. I'm sure she's a lovely girl, and I don't have anything against her, but. Oh boy, your interviews sometimes are rough to listen to. Although, hey, take some cues from Chris Sunshine Williams. He's great. But, yeah, overall, Conor Floyd, give me your... So I guess we should do the cliche, what's next for Conor, bro?
I mean, if I were to choose what's next for him, I'd want to see him fight the winner of Lee and Ferguson.
Yeah, agreed. That's what should be next.
Yes.
However, what's going to be next... What do you think?
It's either they give him Nate Diaz, they give Nate like 10 to 15 million, and he'll just be like, fuck it, I just want to fight.
Yep.
It'll be for the title, 155.
I think that's the only answer.
If not that, they'll just say, fuck that.
Go GSP.
The winner of Lee Ferguson, I guess, will defend their interim belt while Conor waits for GSP. I don't know.
Yeah, I 100% think it's going to be Diaz next. Conor said he wants Diaz next at 155. I think it'll end up not being at 155 so that the UFC can avoid stripping the title. I think they'll say it's going to be a 160 or some bullshit number that doesn't really matter. And the
only curveball I could see that comes out of nowhere, say Diaz doesn't work out, he just wants too much money, and Dana's like, nope. Say you're not fighting at all, and say he doesn't want to do Lee Ferguson, he'll do Khabib in Russia. That's the only other thing that you could see. That won't happen. I
don't believe that. I think that he would sit out. Conor would say, I want some time, and then wait and see if GSP lost.
Yeah.
And then if GSP lost, he'll go, I want to fight GSP at 170. And fucking go for that shit. Because, like, then he also doesn't have to defend a belt against anyone near the top, and GSP isn't going to kill him. Like, or embarrass him the way,
Do you think Dana would strip Conor of his belt when a year passes in November? He'll threaten it. I know he'll threaten to.
He'll threaten to, depending on how the money's looking. Like, because you gotta realize Dana just made, like, fucking couple mil off Conor for literally just standing next to him and being, like, red in the face.
And yelling, yeah.
The writing!
Defending!
Even though he's not defending! UFC! Whatever weight champion!
Money weight!
Yeah, for real. The fucking fake belt. I like the British shop says the belt smells like ass. He's like, that belt smells terrible. It smells like they just killed that gator. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I mean, the rest of that fight is all Floyd picking apart Conor. The 9th round could have been stopped because Conor didn't do shit for the last minute and a half of it. And they went out in the 10th. Conor threw another 5 strikes and then just ate a bag of dicks for the rest of it. I mean, I think we even said during the show last week that there's no way Conor doesn't. Like, there's no way Conor had the gas for that shit at all.
Yeah, the only thing I think at the end of the fight, I like the post-fight interviews with both fighters.
Of course, because
Conor
being respectful as always.
My favorite part where he's like, Floyd, I made him fight like a Mexican.
Yeah.
The thing, I understood the context of that. The thing I didn't like is people online like, Conor is racist. Why? What does that mean? He fights like Mexican? No. He
Mexican
fights like a Mexican because Mexican fighters press forward.
Yeah,
they
Mexican fighters say that that's their style.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Mexican.
This was just SJW's gonna die thrice.
Wait, are you saying there's SJWs on Reddit, Cris? This is a fucking.
I know, what a mindfuck, dude. I'm just blown away.
There's no way. It's like you telling.
Today I learned.
That's like you telling me there's NeoGaf SJWs. When obviously NeoGaf is a bunch of redneck hillbillies who hate gay people, obviously, and love Nick Robinson.
SJW, watch out for the alt left because that exists.
That's right.
Yes, it sure doesn't.
Yeah, I guess we should know we have weird context because we're in California where fucking I don't know, people are people.
Yeah. No.
Where people are adults.
Yeah, I don't have an agenda.
Not like no one's talking for their father every time they speak, and it feels like in this part of the country.
We're all like-minded individuals.
That's right, bro. Yeah, Bellator was good. I should mention briefly. I don't remember about it.
What was the main event again?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, cool. Fuck yeah.
I want to say it was the guy Karatanov. I want to say. Fought the guy who beat Benson Henderson and lost to Korshkov? Yeah, maybe it was Korshkov.
He beat Henderson.
Who's Karatanov?
I don't even know what that.
Yeah, that's somebody. Yeah, I believe it was Korshkov who fought. This is how much.
I remember Reddit. He beat the fuck out of someone.
Yeah, this is how much I remember about any of this. I have almost no recollection. I've wiped Bellator from my mind like a fucking disease. I've almost no recollection of it.
I just don't want to pay attention. I don't want to pay attention to Bellator until Roy McDonald gets paid and the fight he needs.
True.
Douglas Lee.
And also, shouts out to Roy McDonald's AMA that he did on Reddit.
I like how his caps lock was broken.
Yeah, well, that was brutal. We also asked him on the AMA what his favorite wine style and brand is, which he didn't answer. It was tongue-in-cheek, but he does like wine.
And someone asked him, do you believe Robbie Lawler was on PEDs?
I did hear that.
He
and
said
he's
yes.
like, yeah. It's like, yeah, whatever.
I'd probably say that too if I lost to him.
Yeah, probably. So the reason why I barely have any recollection of the Bellator card is because since Bellator there has been the Conor fight, which is chaos. There's an ACB card. There was also Dynamite Tuesday Night Contender Series and Invicta, all since that happened. So I've seen probably 150 fights overall between those, plus whatever else I've watched.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So that's why I don't remember anything about Bellator. However, I do want to mention briefly some of the Tuesday Night Contender stuff, which we watched a bit of.
How about John Jones Jr.?
Yeah, John Jones Jr. showing up. Also, there was a heavyweight bout between
Was
Alan.
that the fight that sucked?
That was Alan Crowder and Dontail Mays.
No, this is a different one.
No, that was the one. And it was a TKO in round 3 out of exhaustion and sadness. Holy fuck. That dude got a contract, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Because they're so goddamn desperate for heavyweights. Laura Mueller out of Alliance shot the fuck out.
She looked good.
Had Angie Hill in her corner, came out and defeated Kelly Velasco. Got by unanimous decision. Took this fight on, I think, about a week's notice.
Yep, week's notice.
Fucking hyped on that girl. She beat the shit out of homegirl. And
got 30-26.
Yeah, and the only time she had trouble was like she still had decent gas by the end of that fight for how taking a week's notice. Like you would, and her clinch and striking and counter striking game is so sharp. You can tell she's been working a fuckload with the girls of Alliance, like Angie Hill and Chris Stanley and everybody.
Zingano too with the grappling and wrestling.
Well, and Chris Stanley just fought last week, so you got to figure they're probably training like in the lead up, just getting each other ready, and that's why she felt comfortable taking on a week, because she's probably one of the girls who worked with Chris on the lead up to her LFA fight. Which is really fucking rad, and everyone there is awesome. Alliance, like a motherfucker, bitches. Adam Antolin beat Casey Kenny by split decision, which was bullshit. Casey Kenny won that fight for sure.
I thought so too.
Tough fight, but I for sure thought Casey Kenny won it. It was a weird, shitty decision. Dana White said the same thing, which don't ever let that make you think that I'm agreeing with him, because he's always wrong. But in this case, I did lean Casey Kenny. It was pretty close, but I feel like Casey Kenny, just with the kicks alone and the amount of damage he did early, kind of stole that.
I think he knocked down Antolin too, like 2 times.
I believe so.
So that sounds really surprised. They give it to Antolin.
Yeah, I mean, Antolin did look good late.
He looked good,
and a lot of times judges forget early rounds because they're fucking bad at their job, but I don't know. What are you going to do? Bevan Lewis took on Elias Urbina. Mini John Jones, like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Like everything about him is Mini John Jones, apart from the blow and failing tests.
Yeah.
If he failed one more test and got caught doing blow while running into trees with the girls in the back of his car, he would be John Jones. He got the TKO at round 2 with a crazy straight right hand that was so on the button it killed homeboy.
Yeah.
It was just fucking devastating. And overall, like, he doesn't look like John in the fact that he just, like, muscle fucks people and just throws them in a corner and kills them. But he did look super dominant in that fight.
Yeah, there was only maybe a couple exchanges where Urbina kind of had him beat on the feet, but
and even then, like, he recovered really well.
It was like counterpunching,
yeah. Even then, he recovered and moved real well with it. And then Matt Frivola beat Jose Flores by submission via arm triangle, which is the lightweight fight at he beat him at round 2. Matt Frivola, of course, is one of Ray Longo's guys, and yeah, just fucking impressive performance. That dude, everyone's pretty hyped on from what I've heard out there. So, cool seeing him get the win. I believe the 3 people they picked up was the chick, it was Frivola, and it was the heavyweight, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. And I know they said that Casey Kenny and Adam Antolin. So Dana White, actually, Cris, we should mention this.
Yeah, what did
said
he do with that?
He said they should. They're gonna fight in our feeder league.
What do you think he means by that?
I think he means LFA.
Yeah.
Which is where Sage came from. It's where they've used a shitload of Tuesday night contenders. Or, I mean, not Tuesday night. Well, they have pulled a lot of guys from that card. Those cards for that. They've also done a bunch of the Dana White looking for a fight episodes for those. I think it's probably LFA is the what he's referring to. However, he might be saying they're starting a new feeder league, which would be pretty fucking crazy. and I would love that shit. Like, if Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series became a feeder league for the UFC...
I'd watch the fuck out of that.
Dude, I'm watching it already, but I would double watch it if it was for that.
What would you think they should call it? Just the JUFC, Junior UFC?
No, you can't.
Not Junior. You can't.
No, I think you keep the name. I think you just call it Dana White Contender Series.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you just slap Dana's name on it. Dana owns it. I'm pretty sure, not the UFC or Ari or any of them.
Yeah.
So Dana can actually make money off it, and if Dana can make money off it, he'll blow that bitch up.
Yeah.
Just so he can have his own, because then he can start his own promotion if he wants to. I mean, obviously he'll have to be signed through the UFC or whatever, but and if he makes money off that, he would actually get paid out twice. So you get paid out for regular Tuesday Night Contender Series money, and he owns part of the UFC, so any money it makes, also probably a chunk of it goes back to the UFC, which he makes a part of too. So it seems like a smart money move for him, and I'm kind of at this point would be surprised if we don't see Dana White involved in some kind of like starter league. It just feels like it's leaning that way, right? Like you heard that comment, and it's really weird and out of place, right? Like I don't
even think he looked right when he said that too, because like after he was in the interview,
after he said it, he was weird about it.
After he was in the interview, he was like this, like.
Yeah, like,
and then, like
weird
hey,
eyes and like.
I think he was just focused on, all right, am I done? Like,
yeah, well, and also I think I can't tell if like he accidentally said they have an agreement with LFA or if he accidentally said they have a new org or what. But either way, I haven't heard anybody writing about this, which is insane.
A developmental league.
Yeah.
So it's probably an organization.
You would think. But, like, is it one that already exists or a new one? Yeah. No, he wouldn't have.
Yeah, I know.
Because he's bad at shouting.
Because I'm throwing them under the bus, too, in a way.
No, the only league he gives any credit to is Invicta, and that's because Invicta is on their platform.
Yeah.
So they stream Invicta, so they make all the money from Invicta. Speaking of which, perfect segue, Invicta happened yesterday. It was fucking awesome. In Invicta yesterday, there was a shitload of upsets. Not Shannon. Oh my god, why can't I remember Shannon's last name?
Briggs?
I keep wanting to call her Doherty or Wright, and both of those are wrong. Shannon. No, it's not Shannon. The Cannon Briggs.
Oh, that's
Shannon.
Champ. Yeah.
No, Shannon. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself over this. Shannon Knapp. Knapp with a K. I love Shannon Knapp. She's a sweetheart.
I was thinking of, let's go, Champ.
Yeah, every time I talk, exactly. Every time I talk to Shannon Knapp, she's been awesome. But she has hired Caitlin Young as the matchmaker, who's been working it for a bit, a couple years now. And Caitlin Young is killing this matchmaking game. Holy fucking shit, dude. There was so many upsets. It's ridiculous. We'll just go over the top 4 that I actually put bets on, because I don't know nearly enough about the rest of the chicks. Although I should mention Courtney King and Amberlynn Orr losing is fucking crazy. Also, Ashley Medina and Julian DeCourcy was a crazy war that could have gone either way. Fucking Sherry Murowski got the crazy guillotine choke in the second. Fucking Amberlynn Orr and Sarah Kliska, or whatever the fuck her name is. I for sure thought Amberlynn Orr had that hands down going into that fight.
Yeah.
But that shit was razor thin, like a lot of these. There was one shitty judge. However, you know what judge was not shitty that was on the card?
That England guy?
No, Josh Rosenthal.
Okay.
Who's back. If you don't remember, Josh Rosenthal was the guy who's arrested for having a bunch of weed plants.
Oh, yeah.
Like 30 or 40 weed plants on a farm. And he got arrested for that, and he wasn't allowed to ref anymore. Or judge or anything. He is now back. Not only is he back, he's reffing and judging this card.
Cool.
Trading off. So, like, whatever fights he isn't reffing, he judged, which is cool, but also, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, no.
But someone on Twitter I was talking to, if you look up the Sound of Violence, or maybe it's the Pulver on Twitter, I think is where I was talking to him. They mentioned, like, the dude I was talking to, he's like, how is, it's cool, I agree, it's cool to see Josh Rosenthal back. How is he allowed to judge and ref? I was like, simple, bro. He switched to sativas.
That's great.
Like, obviously, if you're judging and reffing, you're not smoking indicas anymore. It's pretty clear. All right, now that I got my shitty ham-fisted jokes out the way, Callie Robbins defeated Sharon Jacobson in one of the biggest upsets on this card.
Less than a minute.
Sharon Jacobson is a fucking beast. Just came off trying out for the Olympic team, which she just barely missed, and she did qualify right before that for Worlds or whatever the fuck version of that is in wrestling. And she was a beast. She looked awesome in her last fights. Callie Robbins, not a ton of experience, and Callie Robbins just fucking smacked an armbar on her. And Sharon Jacobson, rather than respecting it, goes to try and punch her way out and just frees up the arm. Callie Robbins goes butt belly down and fucking takes it. And huge upset.
Oh yeah, dude, that's fucking
Sharon
sick.
Jacobson was, I think, minus 160.
Oh wow.
Which, personally, I thought she should have been more than that. I thought she should have been closer to minus 200. So I'm super impressed that Callie Robbins was able to get that win. Huge upset. Speaking of huge upsets, Alexa Connors lost to Katharina Lehner. Cris, you remember Katharina Lehner from our artwork. Remember the Invicta girl who signed her Invicta contract by tweeting out a picture of her with a bunch of naked men around her?
Oh, yeah.
That's Katharina Lehner.
Oh, great.
And she got the win via TKO punches in the first round. I did not pick her to win that fight. She was, I know Alexa was minus 175 going into it. And I had money on Alexa, just like I had money on Sharon Jacobson, because I thought those were easy picks. Super wrong once again. Katharina Lehner absolutely put the fucking pace on her, threw a bunch of bombs coming from straight out of Germany, and laying her the fuck out. So Katharina Lehner did miss weight going into that fight, and she tweeted out some shit apologizing, semi-referencing like, oh, you know, being a girl that time of the month, sometimes it fucks your weight cut, and also I was on antibiotics or some shit.
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? But super impressive performance from her, and I'm so hyped to see what that girl does going forward, especially since she has the greatest...
Is it a strawweight fight or flyweight, probably?
I believe it was at Bantam.
Oh,
yeah,
cool,
Bantam.
yeah, Dynamite, fuck yeah.
And yeah, I like Lehner a lot. I'm pretty high on Lehner. Depending on who she gets matched up against next, I really like her in that division. Livia Hinata Souza.
I think I've never seen her fight before.
Livia Hinata Souza, you definitely saw fight Angela Hill.
Okay,
when
yeah.
Angela Hill won the title.
Yep.
For the first time. She fought Janeza Mirandin. This was a ultra dominant performance from Livia Hinata Souza. Just fucking classic Livia. Just beating her up on... The first round was a little touch and go, but eventually just started beating her up on the feet pretty bad and getting top control a bunch. Olivia's a beast, and I was super impressed. And then Yana Kunitskaya versus Raquel Paului. I am so fucking impressed with Yana Kunitskaya. She should be in the UFC by now.
Yeah.
If Tanya's in there, she should be too. The way she shut down 100% of Raquel Paului's game fucks me up still. Like, Raquel Paului had nothing for Yana Kunitskaya. Yana just won every exchange. Every striking exchange, every grappling exchange, every wrestling exchange. She basically just ran shit the whole time. And it was in a way that was like so dominant that you're like, Jesus, this was for a title. And you're like, ugh, she probably doesn't even belong in this organization anymore. That was so dominant.
So was it like a 50-44?
Something like that. I think one, like, Raquel might have gotten one round, but there was definitely a 10-8 round in there for Yana. Yeah, it was so impressive, and the way she dominated the ground game, which was what I thought was going to be Paului's advantage, and especially the clinch game, I'm just ultra impressed with. She had a great performance, and it was fucking ultra impressive. Whole card was full of upsets. I went 1-for-4 on the top 4 fights. That's how fucking... And I picked all favorites. Yeah. So, like... That's a huge fucking... I mean, Jesus Christ. I had a favorite that was minus 300. I had a favorite that was minus 160 and a favorite that was minus 175. And only the minus 600 paid out. Which was Olivia, not to Souza. So, fucking wild. But I was super impressed with that card. You guys can still watch it on UFC Fight Pass, which I hate to be a show for the UFC, but Fight Pass is the shit, dude, right? Like,
yeah, oh no, I love Fight Pass.
Always
watch it. Always go back and watch fights.
Although,
all the fucking time.
Don't buy humongous pay-per-views off it, evidently.
Yeah, don't buy a boxing match that's hyped up as McGregor Mayweather was.
Yeah, but regular stuff though, it's pretty fucking fantastic.
I've bought pay-per-views on it.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's
have a good internet connection too.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's just being on the online. So. That's what I wanted to recap. All those were fun as shit, though. And yeah, I think that's about it for this segment. So we'll go ahead and wrap it here. You guys can hear a clip of Snoop Dogg saying more horrific shit. I forget what this second clip is, but I just cut it apart.
Hopefully not another lullaby.
No, the last one was the lullaby, I believe. I believe this one is, it's Snoop insulting someone about something.
Oh, great.
Shocking, I know. Though, have we mentioned that every clip from this week's episode is about Snoop insulting fighters because he's a giant piece of shit and should be fired?
I think so.
And not allowed back?
Thank you, Alan Joban, for bringing that to light.
Not even Alan Joban. Yeah. I think the first person was...
Yeah, people didn't know Snoop Dogg had a drunken tirade about fuck Conor McGregor after the fight, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, they know because they heard Uriah talk about it on our intro
that's
for
right.
this week.
That's right.
But yeah, Snoop's a giant piece of shit. I've been saying this for 8 weeks now. He's been talking shit on fighters on every single stream. We've played some of them as our clips on this show. He's a fucking horrible person, and I hope he gets vitiligo.
Yeah.
That's that disease from Mr. Show, right?
Wait.
The fake disease that David Cross has in the beginning of the show, where he's fundraising for vitiligo.
Oh yeah. I think it's like a metaphor acronym.
I believe so.
Oh yeah.
So I hope Snoop gets that, whatever that is, and we will be back with our next segment where we will quickly talk about Volkov versus Struve. I'm pretty actually excited for this card. Maybe just because we haven't had a UFC fight in a month or whatever. But I'm pretty hyped, and we get to talk about our fucking fantasy league, which I'm real excited to talk about as well.
I'm excited too, man. I think I'm gonna get up in that top 3 in a couple weeks.
Dog, you welcome to the club, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm currently running shit, so we will talk about that here shortly. But here's the clip of Snoop Dogg being a giant dick.
I just dropped down and sock him in his motherfucking head.
Oh.
Choke him out. Got him.
Oh,
got him.
That's in.
He didn't want it.
Woo.
He had him. He was in deep.
You got a nice rear naked choke.
He was in deep.
Rear, what'd you call it? The rear butt naked?
Butt booty hole naked choke. He was in deep, but he didn't want it. Break his chin then.
The rear butt naked butt. Oh,
butt
man.
Booty hole naked choke.
I can't even say that. It's a tongue twister.
We are back in what I can only imagine is a 900-degree apartment right now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's so fucking hot.
I'm breaking out.
If you guys don't know, I turn the fans off because I respect your ears when we record. And in Southern California right now, it is what time of night? It's 10:38 at night. In this apartment, it is legitimately over 90 degrees. It is at least a ghetto NSYNC band hot in here.
Yeah.
It's at least 98 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's
Jesus
fucking...
Christ.
Oh, that's right. I made that reference. I I'm going to stop myself from making an instinct reference about my one desire. Because doesn't that first line start with fire?
I think that's Backstreet Boys, but I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Hey, Chris, way to call yourself out on being a giant gay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here to break down this UFC Fight Night. What is it? Ahoy, Rotterdam.
Yeah, that's a cool venue, man.
Struve versus Alexander Volkov. Have you been to that venue, or have you just been outside
I went
of it?
there for this beer fest they had.
Oh, really? You were inside the building?
Yeah, but it was a lot lamer than I thought it would be. It was just a bunch of
Well, it's European beers,
It was
right?
just a bunch of just
It's like all fucking lagers.
I was dancing and shit and all that, but it wasn't like a beer fest like
it was
in
like
Germany.
It's like a bunch of lagers and
It's
like
just a bunch of people
stands,
dancing
right?
around. You get a bunch of French fries with mayo because they love mayo in the Netherlands.
That freaks me out.
Yeah, no, dude, they love mayo.
I know. A lot of Europe really likes mayo, but
Yeah.
especially that part of Europe, right?
Yeah, see, that's when I was in Germany, though. The French fries with the mustard, like, they say fuck ketchup. Like, if you have ketchup, you're a piece of shit.
No, I'm with them.
Ketchup
is for garbage people.
And I had some gnarly bratwurst, too, like, with some dope-ass fucking German-style mustard.
Dog, I bet. Yeah, I remember talking to you about it at the festival you went to, right? Yeah.
But, either way, yeah, Ahoy Rotterdam's a fucking sick-ass venue. It almost looks like a giant hangar, like an airport hangar. Like, indoors. It's pretty neat.
That's dope. Do you have any pictures of it?
I might. I don't know if I do offhand.
Dude, if you do, you should flip through it and see if you have any, because if you do, we'll use that as our artwork instead of Connor fucking Floyd in the middle of the boxing ring.
All I know is it's a venue, too, that bands will play at. I remember I saw, like, Blink-182 played there. Like, it was, like, a month after I got back.
Oh, that's funny.
Like that. I'm like, oh, that would have been kind of neat, maybe. But either way, yeah, it's a cool venue. I like it, and I could see definitely how they have fights there.
Sweet, dude. Well,
especially in a town like Rotterdam, which is a port city.
For sure. So for this Rotterdam card, this card is not the most hyped card of all time, obviously. Yeah. Not even a ton of names on it, but how are you feeling about it, excitement wise?
Just by looking at it, I recognize, I'd say, about half the card.
And how do you feel about it when you realize that the prelims start at 8-something in the morning tomorrow?
Ooh, don't like that.
Yeah. So though that's why I don't like it either, because I get to edit this podcast tonight.
I'll be up at 8
this.
because I have work at 10.
Oh, well, good news is I'll be up at 4 this morning because Ben Askren fights tonight, and I also get to edit this podcast after we're recording it, when it is 10:30 at night the night before. So, yeah.
We can get to the picks if you want.
No, I'm just saying this is my excitement level for this card is like I'm excited for it, but
your excitement is making you lose.
I think most of why I'm excited for it is because there just hasn't been shit in a month.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's been some great cards, don't get me wrong. Like, the Invicta card was awesome. Bellator's put on some good shows. ACB's put on a couple great shows. As much as some people involved in that are giant pieces of shit. Shout out to you fat dick-eating fuck Kadyrov. My name is, I don't know, who do I know? Like, Tom Green. And yeah, so I don't know. I want to like this card. I feel like there's parts of this card that's gonna be fun, but 8 in the morning is a rough task for parts of this card, including our intro, which is not even on Sherdog. Thibaut Goody is taking on Andrew Holbrook. This fight isn't even on the fucking card list for Sherdog.
Oh, great.
So I have to actually look these fighters up individually, and we'll talk about what the fuck is going to happen. But it's very rare, and it shows a super lack of fucks given. Wow, I just dumped my keyboard into my beer. That can't be a good move. It shows a lack of fucks given by the UFC by Sherdog and most outlets that I think this was added late, but it's just not like it's not even on the card. Like normally they would have a thing here saying like he's fighting so and so. Like just doesn't exist. So of course Andrew Holbrook coming off the loss to Gregor Gillespie via KO by punches in the first 21 seconds of his last fight, and then he had that split decision win over Jake Matthews. That's my dog having a panic attack in the background. Thibaut Gody has the losses to Chad Laprise, OAM, and Timu Pakulin back-to-back by TKO, sub, both by RNC. That's a tough lineup.
Yeah, he's fought some good people. Dude,
those are all monsters, and going 3 rounds with OAM is impressive, regardless of how it ended up. So this is a kind of interesting matchup. Jake Matthews is a big win. He also has a win over Ramsey Nijem.
Yep.
Back in 2015. Kind of impressive. But neither is out of a big camp. And I'm not sure which way I'm really leaning on this one.
I think I'm going to Holbrook. He was the only one I've seen fight recently.
Yeah.
I know it's good for you to just kind of go on a hunch. Say, go with the guy you've seen fight.
Well, we're picking off of what we've seen. So, I
just got to go with him.
So I'm going Holbrook as well, but mostly because he's not French.
Yeah,
because
that works.
Thibaut Gody is French, and sorry, France, but...
The only Frenchman I like is Francis Ngannou.
See, I don't have a problem with France, but y'all don't generally produce a lot of big MMA talents.
Yeah.
So we are going to... we're both leaning Holbrook on that one. Up next, we got Bojan
I remember this guy.
Mihalovic.
Yeah, Mihalovic, yeah.
Versus Abdul Karim
I remember that name, too.
So Abdul Karim Edilov and Bojan Mihalovic.
Abdul was probably from Dagestan.
So Bojan is a 205er.
He's a Serbian story.
That's
just
right.
Kidding.
Lost to Francis Gano and win over Joachim Christensen. And Abdul has...
Is he from Dagestan?
He is from...
Nope.
Not only is from Chechnya,
he's Chechen.
From Akhmat MMA,
so
which
clearly
is...
he likes you up. That's Kadyrov's boy.
Akhmat is literally Kadyrov's team.
Fuck.
So he has wins in WFCA over Thiago Monaco Tosado and Leonardo Gosling. So which way you leaning on this one while I try and save this dog in the background from dying?
I'm going with Bojan. Based on who he's fought. I know he got murdered by Francis Ngannou via TKO punches in the first round, and he got murdered by Joachim Christensen in the third round via TKO punches. But I'm a little biased. I don't like Kadyrov. I don't like people associated with him. Maybe Abdul Karim Edilov is not a piece of shit like Kadyrov is, but he still fights for him. So I don't like that. And because he hasn't fought in the UFC. So I gotta go with the UFC experience.
Understandably, apologies for the fan noise in the background. I'm trying to save a dog from dying. But I'm going to agree with you. I never am going to pick an Akhmat MMA guy if I can, if I have the choice.
Help it, yeah.
Actually, you know what? No, fuck that. I'll never pick an Akhmat MMA guy. I'll pick ACB guys that aren't directly associated with that fucker, but anyone straight out Akhmat MMA, fuck them. They can eat a bag of dicks. So Abdul Karim Edilov, I hope he dies by the hands of Bojan Mihalovic, and fuck him because fuck Kadyrov. And also, I'm pretty sure this dude's, I don't know if he's the one. One of these guys on this card is rumored to be a contract killer for Kadyrov.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Well, badass in the way that you're like, hey, gay boy, I kill.
I kill you.
Yeah. They're real garbage people. So up next...
They're human trash.
Speaking of people out... well, I shouldn't segue like that. Up next we have a featherweight fight between Mike Santiago and Zabit Magomed
Wait. How do you say that name? Let me see. On
Mike Santiago?
No, the other guy.
Zabit Magomed Sharipov? It's Sharipov.
What's his name?
Well, I mean, don't go by his by his Sherdog name, because it's going to just be wrong. Because they're fucking terrible at that shit. Zabit Magomedsharipov.
Yeah, Magomedsharipov, yeah.
Versus Mike Santiago. Zabit is the guy that Matt Serra is super high on, that he trains with. Zabit, of course, is coming off of the wins in ACB over Sheikh Magomed, some fucking name that I'm not even going to try, Valdine Silva.
Rob Kanav, yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of other dudes whose names are brutal. He's been in ACB for a while and been just starching motherfuckers. Along with he has one sub by guillotine. Mike Santiago is coming out of the Dynamite Contender Series after fighting in ROC, Ring of Combat out on the East Coast, and then RFA 39. Where he had wins in both, one by sub via RNC and one by TKO. And of course he had the KO via punches against Mark Cherico in Dynamite Tuesday Night Contender Series. So this should be, I'm actually very excited for this fight, because I know a lot of people are really hyped on Zabit, and Mike Santiago looked real sharp and like game as fuck in Dynamite Contender. So which way are you leaning on that?
I think I'm going to go with the grappler, Zabit.
You think so?
I think if Matt Serra's kind of praising him, I plan his grappling skills to kind of carry over and help him win that fight.
I could see that, for sure. Who'd you take in the first fight, Holbrook or Godey?
Holbrook.
Which I did too, right?
I think we both took Bojan in this next
And we
one.
both took Bojan, right?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Sorry, I'm recording these finally so that we actually talk about them on our follow-ups. All right. Francois Barroso versus Alexander Rakic. I think it's Rokic or Rakic. Francois Barroso is coming off the recent no contest overturned by Brazilian Commission for an accidental clash of heads against Darren Stewart. He then got the win against Darren Stewart by unanimous decision later in the year. He's taking on Alexander Rakic. Alexander is, of course, from Austria, and he has some wins in Austrian Fight Challenge, whatever the fuck that is. Oh, I like the name of some of these fucking events, though. Iron Fist is a good event name. Vendetta is a good event name. Hemigala? I don't know what it means. Or Heimgala? I don't know what it means. That sounds like a good event name. And then, of course, Francois Barroso is coming off a UFC stint where he has that loss to Nikita Krylov, and then before that, the win over Elvis Mutacic and Ryan Jimmo, which, wow. Yeah, that was a while back. But he recently got that March win over Darren Stewart, which is pretty impressive. Which way are you leaning on this one?
I'm going with Francimar. I remember we made a bet about that a couple months ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
And I lean the other way?
You'd bet towards Stewart.
So I think I'm gonna... Oh, you mean the other dude? Darren Stewart?
Yeah,
I bet Darren Stewart?
You had lost the bet to me on that fight for some. I can't remember what it was, but I remember. Yeah, I was actually surprised that I won because I think I told you I thought the other guy was gonna win too, and then he won. I'm like, oh wait, I guess I still win that bet.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Well, you know what? Since I don't remember that, I'm gonna go ahead and bet this Austrian dude who has a bunch of first round knockouts for no reason.
Yeah.
So
he's probably Schwarzenegger's love child.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's just proven already. So I'll take him, and you can take Barroso. What's our bet for this one?
Wait.
It should be drink related, probably.
Yeah.
But what kind of a terrible shot, or should it be a garbage beer, or like some awful wine cooler?
Yeah, dude, like shitty wine. Like a shitty wine and then like what raw blue cheese crumbles, but there was some. I like blue cheese though.
So you're saying?
But like seeing raw blue cheese and wine would be quite terrible, because wine and shit. That'd be a terrible wine.
But that sounds good if it's decent wine.
Fuck.
So here's what I'm saying. How about this? How about a fortified wine? Because fortified wine is notoriously terrible. Like
what's fortified wine again?
Like Mad Dog or Cisco.
Jesus. Yeah. Let me think.
You know what? We should make this a 3-part bet, where it's 2 out of 3.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to do that on this card?
Yeah.
And then we'll do a fortified
so you have
wine.
To get 2 out of 3.
So that way
so
there's
you have
some
to get
real.
2 out of 3 to win.
No, so loser of 2 out of 3 on our 3 picks for this card has to drink a terrible fortified wine.
Okay.
And my first pick is a dude who I think is going to lose. Just to make this bet fair.
Okay.
All right, I like it already. So, fucking Rasik, don't kill me, bro.
I mean, I actually, you know what? Fuck it. Don't pick somebody thinks there's do a different one. I'd rather be fair and square, motherfucker.
Dude,
Let's
to be
go.
fair, I'm not convinced he's not gonna win. I want
this to be fair, dude.
He's on a fucking 4-fight win. He's all his fights have ended by first round knockout. It's not a bad.
I guess
it's not the worst. I just don't. I mean, Francis Barbosa.
So that's the first part of the bet. One of the first out of 3 fights, right?
First of 3. Up next, we got Mads Oh no, we don't. I'm going by the shitty Sherdog rankings or order, which is totally wrong. Rustam Khabilov taking on Desmond Green right next. I'm kind of hyped about this.
Wow, yeah, that's actually a really good matchup.
I think it's gonna be super fun. Let's see. Khabilov is coming off of.
Is this lightweight where he lost to Kevin Lee?
No, Khabilov is a big dude. Oh yeah, no, he is lightweight.
Did he lose to Kevin Lee?
He lost to a while back, right? No, somebody else on this card.
Oh, Islam, I think.
Yeah, is on Makhachev maybe?
So yeah.
No, yeah. So Rustam Khabilov is coming off the wins over Norman Park, Chris Wade, Leandro Silva, and Justin Sago, all by decision. And then he lost the split decision to Adriano Martins back in 2015. Desmond Green, the Predator, is coming off of a couple split decision wins over Martin Brown and Josh Emmett. Also has decision wins over Desmond Hill and James Freeman back in Titan and FFC. This is his second fight in his UFC career, coming off the win over Josh Emmett by split decision. That's a tough fucking matchup, man.
Yeah, this is tough. I know who I'm picking, though, and I might regret this, and I'm probably not going to win. I'm going with Desmond Green, because I remember his fight against
Fight number 2 of our...
I remember his fight against Josh Emmett. He had good takedown defense against Josh Emmett, a team alpha male who is a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a beast.
And he had really solid boxing. I got to go with him. I know Rustam Khabilov's wrestling's probably on another level, but I have confidence in Green's stand-up that he can keep my distance.
Perfect. You just heard bet number 2 of our 3-part bet that we are making. I 100% have Rustam Khabilov.
Cool.
He's out of Jackson Wink. He's a fucking beast. I don't see him having any trouble shutting down all offense and getting a unanimous decision. But I think it should be fun. I think it'll be a fun fight either way. So that is a bunch of fucking dopeness. Up next we got Michel Prazeres versus... Where are you? Michel Prazeres. Versus Mads Bernal. So Mads Bernal is... well, I should start with, I guess, Trator. Michel Prazeres, Trator, out of Coalicio fight team, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that is, but he's coming off the wins.
I don't know.
Yeah, something like that, probably. Coming off of wins over J.C. Cottrell, Gilbert Burns, and Josh Berkman. Decisions, and then he got the sub via RNC over Josh Berkman after clobbering him on the feet for fucking 2 minutes straight.
The 69
Or I guess it was only a minute and a half straight, but it felt like forever. Yeah, and then he 69 choked him. He's taking on Mads Bernal, who
this
is...
guy's only 23.
Yeah, Mads Bernal, first fight in the UFC, but he is a super strong grappler.
He looks strong as shit.
Mostly works off of the headlock game, it seems like. And he also has some really good submissions. Again, it seems like most of his game comes off of his aggressive pace, and then his kind of like neck ride game, like his combination ability to pressure wrestle off of the neck and then grab subs off of it. I think this is gonna be a fun fight, though. Cris, which way you lean in? I know you probably haven't seen any Mads footage.
Yeah, no, I like the Danish guy, Mads.
Really?
Yeah. I like how you got Japanese neckties, which is like, what, upward pressure, right? Isn't that like off of someone's back?
Japanese necktie is, it's kind of like a Peruvian necktie, but at a different angle. It's almost a darce, I believe. If correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe it's kind of like a darce where you're palm to palm and you're using more shoulder pressure.
Okay.
I believe you can actually see video of Joe Rogan teaching Japanese neckties to TJ Dillashaw on Instagram or Twitter back in the day. Where it's like, it's one of these things where you're kind of locking up like a darce, but then you kind of maybe it's more of I believe it's more of a darce. It could be an anaconda, though. I'm bad at this shit. And then you kind of like lean over it and you use shoulder pressure to kind of get a weird tap. It's really interesting when you watch it. A lot of people, a lot of different setups for it. But I do believe this will be our third bet, Cris.
Cool.
So Michel Prazeres versus Mads Bernal. So let me make sure I get these down. I'll let you break down the next fight while I do that. But oh boy, I think that's a crazy 3 back-to-back bet that we just made, which I think it's gonna be pretty fun. So up next, Merabak Taisimov takes on Felipe Silva. Felipe Silva is...
I remember him.
Sorry, fucking trying to get this shit loaded. Felipe Silva out of Pro Fight Team and CM
A lot of lightweights
System.
on this card.
A lot of lightweights. I think they mostly try to grab either foreign dudes or Brazilians, it seems like. He's coming off the win over Shane Campbell at UFC on Fox 21. And Merabak Taisimov is, of course, out of Fight Club Berkut.
Dude, I totally read that as Team Tiramisu. Swear to God, that was hilarious.
That's funny. Definitely Team Taisimov. And he has wins over Damir Hadzovic, Alan Patrick Silva Alves, and Anthony Christodoulou. Cris, which way you leaning on this one? Between Felipe Silva and Merabak Taisimov.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I mean, Merabak Taisimov definitely has the experience edge, but Felipe Silva has had a good run where he's been fucking people up with TKOs and especially TKOs in the first round. Jesus.
I gotta go with him because I've seen him fight and he just knocks people the fuck out.
Really?
I know the other guy has like 22 more fights in him. His experience, I don't know. It's kind of a toss up for me. I'm not really too confident either way.
I can see that.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Silva.
I'm definitely going with Merabak Taisimov. I actually have Merabak Taisimov in one of my fantasy leagues. I believe it's in the... Actually, no, it's the MMA Community Fantasy League. Because I always mix up the one that you and me are in, which is the MMA Underground Fantasy League. On Magwar, right? Magwar.com. Shouts out to that shit. It's a lot of fun so far. I'm definitely enjoying it. But, yeah, I'm going to go Taisimov. I think the only reason I'm leaning Taisimov is off experience. And him just fucking killing dudes. I think Taisimov is a future problem in that division for a bunch of dudes. But he hasn't really stepped up against huge competition. So it wouldn't completely surprise me if you ran into a brick wall of a dude. And speaking of similar matchups where I think dudes can run into brick walls of a dude, Darren Till taking on Bojan Velikovic.
Another Bojan.
Yeah, that's right. 2 Bojans on the same card. How often do you get that? Mihailovic
and Velichkovic.
And Velichkovic, yeah. Darren Till coming off of the win over Jason Ayari by decision, the Nicholas Dalby draw, and the KO via elbows of Wendell de Oliveira Marques.
Marquez, I don't know.
Sure, however you want to pronounce it.
I have no idea.
And Bojan Vlahovic, Serbian Steel, which is a fucking great nickname. Coming off the win over Nicholas Musoke and the loss to Sultan Aliyev, and the draw with Michael Graves. Interesting, 2 dudes with draws on their record. You don't see that a ton. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Also, the win over Alessio Di Chirico. This is a weird matchup, man. I don't know why it's this high up on this card. Unless I have the order mixed up.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I mean, to be fair, fucking Darren Till is 14-0.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Bojan Velickovic. Nico, let's go bowling. Serbian Steel.
Nico! I'm going Darren Till for sure. Just off of the experience.
14-0, yeah.
And 14-0 with a 1 draw. He's kind of a fucking beast and it looks real good. So I'm going to lean that way. But not with a ton of confidence. I haven't, as much as I've probably seen him fight, 4 times in the UFC by now? I remember barely one of them. So I'm going to lean that way, but not with any kind of confidence. These next 4 fights, though, are the ones I'm the most excited about on this card for sure, which is the main event, also on Fight Pass. We have Leon Edwards taking on Brian Barberena.
Yeah, I will say right now, I'm going with Brian Barberena.
You better, bro.
Fantasy squad.
Yeah, you got Brian on your fantasy team.
Bam, bam, let's go.
That's right. Coming out of the MMA lab with the win over Joe Proctor and the loss to Colby Covington, and then wins over Worley Alves and Sage Northcutt. Jesus, that's all since 2016. That's a crazy list. And then Leon Edwards, Rocky, coming out of England with the win over Vincente Luque.
That's impressive.
He also has the sub over Albert Tyson, Albert Tumanov.
Tough fight for me.
Yeah, and the win over Dominic Waters. Only loss has been to Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
It's a tough fight. I'm leaning with you on this one. I'm gonna go Barberena. I think Barberena is going to be able to just kind of. I've never seen anyone outwork and out wrestle Barberena.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen it, and that's how he wins fights. Is he just outworks and out wrestles motherfuckers. And I just see Leon Edwards kind of drowning in that problem, especially being out of England. I feel like it
One punch, mate. Heart of a lion.
Right, exactly. By the way, Heart of a Lion had a certain man had no time for any of that bullshit.
He had no time, and his head rocked off the canvas.
Yeah,
like
exactly. So I'm gonna lean Barberena with you on this one. I do lean that direction. Although, man, that's
Edwards
not an easy
like
pick though.
Out.
Yeah, Edwards is definitely no slouch, and I think we're gonna see a lot more from him in the near future. All right. So up next we got Marion Renault versus what was supposed to be Jermaine Durandamy.
But she just pulled out, I don't know.
Yep, so we have the late replacement.
She had to go arrest someone.
Talita Bernardo, which is listed as Talita Bernardo.
Yeah.
On there, everywhere else she's listed as Talita de Oliveira.
Yeah.
Or Talita de Oliveira Bernardo. So I've actually watched some tape on this one today because I was bored at work, and I was interested because I hadn't seen any of this chick's footage. Wow, does she not even have a fucking Sherdog page? What is happening right now? Sherdog is just losing his shit on me. There we go. So Marion Renault, of course, is coming off the recent draw to Betch Correia, which I still think she won. She definitely 10-8'd the last round, and I thought she took one of the first 2. I mean, they were both close, but I thought she took the first one.
Yeah, I remember that fight.
And then she has the win over Miliana Dudieva and the loss by split decision to Ashley Evans-Smith. And the Holly Holm fight, which we were in person for.
Yeah.
That was the fight where I stopped giving a fuck about Marion Renault.
Yeah.
Because of the way she fought that fight, which I didn't realize right before that she had won by triangle over Jessica Andrade.
Oh shit!
Which is a huge statement.
That's nuts.
But she just showed up like absolute garbage in that Holly Holm fight and didn't do anything, which was kind of a bummer. And then Toledo de Oliveira Bernardo is coming off of a series of submission wins with one decision in between. She's got 2 arm bars via first round stoppage, a decision via unanimous, and a sub via RNC at LFN 5 points, which almost sounds like a show we would go to. Because we do go to a place called 5 Points to watch fights previously. But so I went back and I watched. Toledo de Oliveira has
4 points, but yeah.
Oh, you're right. That is 4 points.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what is he talking about?
Oh, you're right. That is 4 points.
Shouts out to Epic Fighting, Amateur Fighting.
That's right. I was more talking. I just now I'm realizing I'm confusing like Gangs in New York with the sway over the 5 points.
Yeah.
Shouts out to DDL. He's the best. Fucking cobbler ass shoemaker motherfucker. So Toledo de yeah, right. So Toledo de Oliveira Bernardo is really, really, really scrappy. She's really good at grabbing awkward submissions. She pushes the pace. She pretty much marches people down and throws bombs and tries to get you in a wild exchange. I do think that's going to make for a fun fight with Marion Reneau. However, I think that's going to make for a fight with Marion Reneau where she gets tapped the fuck out. She seems to lean real hard towards the wrestling game, and Marion Reneau is very good at counter wrestling and at grabbing subs off of takedowns or working off her back. I think if this fight stays on the feet, Marion Reneau fucks her up badly. I think if this fight goes to the ground, Marion Reneau either sweeps her and taps her or catches her in something pretty quickly.
Yeah,
just because
I can see that.
Toledo de Oliveira, she's really fast paced, but she's also like a little sloppy. She'll also just like move from technique to technique and not necessarily set things up correctly. And having watched a bunch of tape on Marion Reneau today, man, she is she's way more patient and methodical. She's very quick, and she's also very methodical in the way she approaches like positions.
Yeah.
And I just think that that Toledo is way too young in her career to handle anything along the lines of Marion Reneau. Yeah, so I really, I strongly favor her in this fight. I was
thinking of too in the beginning.
For sure. And I believe that might bring us to the main event, if this will ever load. Is that what's happening here? Are you gonna load? I thought I sort of. Oh, there's one here. Eventually this fight will load, and we'll talk about it. Cris, other than this, is there anything else you're excited for this weekend? Have you heard of any other fights happening? Anything else?
Not that I could think of off the top of my head.
The only thing I can think of is Ben Askren fights at 4 this morning.
Okay, that's right.
As we're recording this, like probably by the time this fucking podcast gets posted, Ben Askren will be fighting in
the next fight
FC.
is CR Bahadurzada. Versus Rob Wilkinson. Rob Razor Wilkinson. So CR the Great Bahadurzada from Afghanistan versus Rob Wilkinson from Australia.
Yep.
They're both middleweight. Or no. It's Rob Wilkinson's listed at middleweight. Bahadurzada is listed at welter. Oh, you got it up now, right?
Oh, no, keep going because it's not responding.
Let's see if it shows where he fights out of. Bahadurzada. He fights out of Amsterdam, so he trains in the Netherlands. No, see, this is just showing statistics, and there's, like, videos. He's fought in Sherdog, Brazil. He has fought his most recent UFC fight, well, in here video, it's UFC 196, so maybe he got cut in his back. Rob Wilkinson is blacked out on here. His record is 11-0.
I thought you were going to say Rob Wilkinson is black. I was like, no, that's not true at all.
He's blacked out here. I can't see his face.
Oh, when you say he's blacked out, you mean the picture on Fight Pass is not accurate.
Yeah. Yes.
Also,
he's
I
a creative
love,
fighter silhouette.
Also, you know why we
And
just,
this is his UFC debut.
You know why we just had trouble with the Sherdog page? Is because they finally fixed the fucking order of this card.
Oh.
Just now. It's cool. We're only 12 hours out from when the card happens. Sorry. We're only 9 hours out from when the card starts. So Sierra Bahadurzada, the Great, out of Afghanistan, and training with Black Zillions and Jaco Hybrid.
Or Combat Club MMA with Henry Hooft.
I don't know if he was one of the ones that left or one of the ones that stayed.
Yeah.
But I know he's coming off the win over Brandon Thatch and the loss to John Howard and the loss to Stun Gun, which is, by the way, those were both in 2013. His last fight was the win over Brandon Thatch in 2016.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. He's taking on Rob Wilkinson. Razor Rob Wilkinson out of Australia, coming off the wins over Alexander Popek and Jamie Abdallah in Euro FC 1 and AFC 15. Also fought in AFC 14 against Daniel Schuart. Whoever the fuck these people are.
Yeah, I'm going with the Australian guy, mainly because CR's only fought once in the past 4 years.
So I would, except for I don't know anything about any of those fucking divisions. So I'm actually going to go with CR, just off of not knowing any of those fucking organizations at all.
Yeah.
But I could see it going either way, honestly. And then finally
Battle
we
of
have
the Giants.
Volkov versus Struve. Full disclosure, I'm going Volkov because I have Volkov on my fantasy league, and I do believe Volkov is going to fuck Struve up. I believe Struve is going to have trouble with someone who is also tall and not going to be able to use his reach as well as Volkov, and have trouble on the feet. If he can get it to the ground, I think Struve has a decent chance.
No, I was gonna say if it goes to the ground, I have Struve, but I've never seen Volkov fight. I want to pick him because he's tall, and because he'll disrupt Struve's rhythm, and I think he'll stuff his takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I'll just pick Volkov because of that. I don't know. I just think Struve's. I think he's good. I mean, he did beat Stipe once upon a time ago, and Stipe wasn't really Stipe now.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. I think Struve could be on another level if he uses his reach to his advantage, but Volkov's 6'8", Struve is 6'11", so that's pretty nuts.
True. And yeah, I mean, Struve hasn't fought anybody even close to as tall as that.
Yeah, so for Stipe, it was 6'4", but then that's still a huge discrepancy.
Well, and that was a very different Stipe back then.
Exactly.
And it was a very different
now
Struve.
Just murder him, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm leaning Volkov probably by KO early, just because if Struve is going to get caught, he's going to get caught early and by a big overhand, because that's kind of what happens to Struve.
Part of me wants to lead towards Struve, because the last time I saw him fight, I think it was the Rotterdam card 2 years ago, and he whooped some ass because of the hometown crowd.
Yeah, he did great in his last fight.
Oh no, it was the Amsterdam card.
It was
I think it was an Amsterdam card that it's in, right?
Yeah, let me pull it up. It's
Not
right
the
here.
Rotterdam from 2 years ago.
It was... Oh, god damn it, Sherdog. I have the page up. Just let me fucking scroll.
Or, of course, Battle of the Two Flags that are kind of similar looking.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the white and the red.
Yeah. At some point, Sherdog will let me scroll, and I can tell you what Stefan Struve recently fought on. I believe he recently... Nope, that was Volkan. He recently fought Roy Nelson. Oh, good. Oh, good, Sherdog. You're literally nuking my goddamn computer. Stefan Struve recently fought on, since this is faster, recently beat Daniel Emelianchuk in the Bisping Henderson card.
In England.
And then Antonio Silva.
Yeah, that was in Rotterdam.
Yeah, that was. Or Overeem Arlovsky.
Or it was last year, yeah.
Yeah, Rotterdam. You totally nailed that. Oh, Hoy Rotterdam, same venue.
Yep.
May 8th. So the last one was...
Yeah, because I was
right,
running
the last one was on my birthday, 2 years,
right on.
or 2 months before you went over there. That's funny. So yeah, so did you decide which way you're leaning on?
I think I'm with the hometown guy, Struve.
Dude, that's super understandable.
I think he'll win by submission.
Yeah.
You bring him to the ground somehow.
I agree.
Or they're both scramble, both fall or trip, something goofy, and then he'll just be like, oh, and he's like,
yeah,
he's caught him.
Yeah, if you have
Dan Hardy.
Yeah, if you have 7'7" Struve on top of you in a grappling exchange, you're in for some fucking. You're in for a world of trouble.
A lot of limbs.
Yeah, it's a lot of trouble. So I am with you on that, man. I could see that happening, but I'm gonna go Volkov just off of recent wins and the fact that I'm always hesitant right now to pick Struve for anything because he just makes me nervous. But excuse me, I do think this is gonna be a fun card though, man. Now that we're looking over it, like
it sucks I'll have to miss it, but
yeah, well, and it's an entire Fight Pass card,
then,
so
I'll be able to rewatch immediately, which is nice.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So I'm pretty excited to watch this in the morning. It'll be right after the Bid Askren card that I might end up watching it 4 in the morning, depending on how long this editing takes, since that's 6 hours from now, or less than that. But yeah, overall, I think this is actually an underrated card. Matchup wise, name wise, it's fucking not anything.
Some names in there for sure.
I mean, there's a couple, but not really much.
Yeah, nothing.
But I feel like matchup wise, this is gonna be a really fun card. Like, this has all the makings of a card that is going to way overperform. Just based on like who's lined up and how they're matched up, I feel like this card could easily be one of the better underrated cards of the year. So I'm kind of excited for it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty hyped, and maybe a lot of that might just be that we haven't had a fucking UFC card in a month. And then next weekend, holy shit, is 215, right? Or 216, right?
215, yeah, wow.
Is it 15 or 16?
15, yeah. Mighty Mouse and Ray Borg.
And Amanda Nunes.
Oh, yeah, Shevchenko.
That's right. Shouts out to...
It would have been in Ghana JDS, but that got fucked up.
That's right. Which sucks, because I had JDS, and I really think he would have won that.
I think he would have won, too. Fuck out of
and I had Amanda... I have Amanda also, which I'm pretty hyped on.
You have Amanda? I thought you'd have Shevchenko because the card,
No, I had Amanda off the draft.
Oh, there you go. That'll do.
But, like, also, I like Amanda over Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. But we'll talk about that next week. So, look out for our picks. I have Mirbek Taisimov in one league and Volkov in the other league. And the way these leagues work is that you get points off of how high up on the card they are, and then whether the fight goes to decision or knockout or submission, and then you also get more points depending if you if you lose the fight, you get more points for the later rounds it goes. If you win the fight, you get more points for the less rounds it goes, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting, and maybe we'll post our rankings or something on the next show notes or something like that. We'll definitely go over it. But currently, the reigning, defending champion of our league on the underground, this motherfucker right here, Salty Kawa. What's up, bitches? That's right. And speaking of Salty Kawa, who is currently mining his giant...
tainted supplements.
Yeah, his giant tainted supplement library. We'll go ahead and wrap this one here, but... It's a fun episode, man. So look for us. You guys can hit us up on Twitter, TSOV Pod. We have been kind of active on there. I've been trying to be more active during fight nights and stuff. You can also hit me up on Twitter, The Pulver. Hit Cris up on Twitter, Cris Madaffer.
Yep.
You can send an email to the show, sovpod@gmail.com or chris@thesoundofviolence.com. Hit us up. Let us know what we should be listening to, what MMA podcasts we're missing out on, how we're fucking garbage people, and you wish we wouldn't talk anymore. And go ahead, if you guys could, subscribe, like, comment, YouTube, subscribe, like, on all that bullshit on iTunes, since it helps us out. If not, I don't... That's cool. I feel you, bro. And we'll go ahead and wrap it there. But Cris, is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we're out of here?
Sorry, I was distracted. Volkan Oezdemir was doing AMA today. I'm reading through some of the hilarity. The hilarity that ensued.
How much time did he have for the AMA?
Yeah, his first thing he said, "Hi guys, it's Volkan. This is the AMA asking your questions quickly because I got no time."
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's pretty great so far. Sorry if I was kind of quiet.
That's amazing.
Laughing in my head pretty hard at what he was having to
That's
say.
great. So we'll have a link in the description for that as well. So give that a look. We'll have that and the Rory McDonald, the AMA. So give all that a look. Like I said, hit us up. Let us know what we should be listening to. And hit us up, bitches. I guess enjoy the fights. Enjoy having an actual UFC card, even if it is early in the morning and in the fucking Netherlands.
Which is 9 hours ahead.
Yeah, but hence the 8 o'clock start time or whatever it is, 8:30. And if you guys have not seen Invicta 25, it was fucking awesome. Bunch of upsets. I recommend going back and watching it, as well as the Ultimate Fighter this week was great. Roxanne Modafferi is a beast, and that whole season's gonna be a lot of fun. So check all that out, and hit us up. Like I have said 18 times already. I feel like I'm forgetting something that I should be plugging. Do we have something to plug?
I don't.
Okay, well, check out our Kickboxer Vengeance commentary then.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And until next time, everybody, go do something decadent. We out. Bye.